Coming out, Asif.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Shacknews Twitch Channel. Today is Monday. It is March the 7th, 2022. We're here with the latest episode 122, The Wide World of Electronic Sports. We're here with our host, Brian, Hot Rod. Guys,
There he is.
what's going on?
Oh, wait. There's a third host.
There's a third host. Wait a
We
second.
have
That's
a
right.
third host.
In the
Magic
absence,
host, the all-seeing eye.
Well,
in
I
the
mean,
absence of the phenomenal EE.
is that why there's so many people watching right now?
I have no idea.
We have Bizarro EE filling in.
Are we live?
Yes,
We are.
Technically,
we are live.
Hi,
Welcome.
internet.
So
I
yes,
I might be off cam because I didn't put on my makeup.
no worries. We'll have two disembodied voices on the show today on the 122nd episode of Wide World of Esports. Yes, I am Bryan Lefler, contributing editor for Shacknews, joined as always by Rodney Conyers Jr. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to talk. I know you and I were really excited to get into this episode because we got that wonderful thing called Summit to talk about.
Yeah, we do have something to talk about, but we'll get there in good due time. The phenomenal EE Phil Visu is not here today because he would be evading a Twitch ban if he were to show up on stream. Unfortunately, I don't know what Twitch was thinking when they handed that one out to him.
I don't get it because outside of Phil's ban, I don't understand how he had an opportunity to be on G4 today, and then obviously he would have been on our show. I don't understand how a person being on a different stream is evading the ban. It isn't like EE fired up a new channel and was accepting subs on it. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems kind of unfair. It seems very unfair based on if why he was banned is why he was banned. Really, I'm very confused by it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I see the clip.
free.
There's a clip about it, but I'm just like, this is not any different than traditional EE stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, I watch a lot of EE streams, and nothing that he said there is out of pocket for him. I think it was more he tends to do these after events. He'll go live almost right after they go offline, from the commentary desk. So he had thousands of viewers that probably came over from the BTS Smash stream, and maybe some of them weren't really knowledgeable about what kind of stream he does usually. The other thing is, I saw him tweet that it was like an auto mod situation or some sort of like
It could
bot. But once again, like I guess the bot wasn't sniffing around his stream the other 4,000 times.
be. Yeah, really.
Right.
But yeah, I hope you're doing well out there, Phil, and I hope this gets resolved soon.
Maybe the reporting prompts an auto mod checking it out or whatever. And then that just, if it matches, then it just does the automatic temporary ban. But yeah, I hope you're watching EE. Hope you're doing well, but you are here in spirit. And yes, we're joined by Asif Khan, the man with the briefcase, the creator of Wide World of Esports and many other shows on Shacknews Twitch. How are you doing today?
I'm a little under the weather, so I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it's not excellent. I mean, but I'm glad you're here. And I'm sorry to hear that you're doing under the weather. I hope you feel better, but it'll be nice to have you on the show.
I did watch a lot of Smash this weekend, so I'll probably have a lot to say about Summit.
Oh, we all have a lot to say about Summit, except for maybe Krabs. Hope you're doing well, Krabs. Thank you so much for your technical direction, as always. Glad to get into the show with you today. Let's get into it, though. We have a lot to talk about. Our first story up is one quick one about Halo Infinite. And the game it started out really well. Well, I mean, I guess its very initial start was not very well. Its reveal was not so hot. People were kind of clowning on the reveal. Right. Then the multiplayer beta saved it. Everyone was like, wow, this is actually really fun. The game comes out, it has very decent reviews. A lot of people had it on their Game of the Year lists. And then it turns out they're losing their multiplayer lead.
They forgot that once they put that beta out, that eventually at some point they have to patch it.
Yeah, I guess so. Their multiplayer lead, Andrew Witz, is leaving 343. The co-op campaign has been delayed again, so we're not going to get co-op for another length of time. It's just I feel like Halo Infinite might be losing a little bit of momentum. What do you guys think?
You know, it's really tough to say with a game like Halo. I mean, just seeing what it is to the culture. Halo is just an important ass piece of just history. I mean, I think it even exceeds the word game at this point. Like, I think it's just an important piece of like just history. But the fact of the matter remains the same. Like, it does have to operate within the realm of being treated like a game. And when you are missing a lot of things, even if it's not at the initial launch, like look at Street Fighter 5, like that. This is a prime example of how not to do it. Street Fighter 5 came out, it felt very bare bones in comparison to Street Fighter 4. It just did not hit the same. Later on down the line, we got what we were looking for. Halo kind of did something a little bit more similar, but it still feels like, I mean, co-op campaign, guys, is that really an L? I mean,
Yes, it's a
Big
huge L. I'm
You
gonna
wanted to
step in
spend a
here.
part of the
I'm gonna
game
step
ever
in
since
here
the
real
beginning.
okay, please do, because I just when I played Halo back in the day, like I don't know. Maybe I just had a different experience with it.
I can't listen to this. I'm someone who plays Halo Infinite every day.
Okay.
I am about this game, and I am a Halo fan dating
Yeah,
back.
you post on Twitter a lot about it.
Yeah, I play it a lot, and because I'm playing it a lot, I have no qualms with pointing out its weaknesses. And there are an abundance of weaknesses. I think the important difference between comparing this to Street Fighter V, Rod,
Mhm.
is that Street Fighter V cost money at launch.
That's true.
This is free.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite multiplayer is free. Now, I'm not saying free means you can make a bad experience or not patch it or anything, but
Mhm.
I think it lowered its expectations materially when it shipped free.
Yeah.
Also, they shipped multiplayer before the single player even came out. So I was disappointed when they staggered out these releases. And I go back to co-op. Playing co-op single player or campaign is a core experience of the multiplayer aspect of Halo that has
Right.
shipped with most of its games at launch.
Yeah.
So it's an L. It's a big. And then they told us at the time when they went free to play with multiplayer that yeah, co-op's coming. It's going to come at the beginning of season 2 in spring. Now they're saying it's not. So it's like, what's wrong with co-op? Is really my question, Rod, because
Yeah.
this is
That's
something
a
that
good question.
Halo 2 had at launch.
Halo
You know what
3.
I mean?
I played Halo 3 co-op the night it came out.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Reach had it at launch. So like, what has happened? Obviously, Bungie's not making this game anymore. But outside of that,
Well,
what
yeah.
has happened to make this such a challenge? But outside of that, we stream Halo Infinite every Thursday here on our channel.
I've seen, yeah.
And Chris has suffered through it with me. Like, there are technical issues with this game's multiplayer experience that I always point out that Microsoft is the second largest company in the world. It's not acceptable for this company that's this huge, that powers the Azure cloud system, to have this poor of an online experience.
Not for their flagship franchise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially not for Halo. And I mean, I do agree. I just felt like, with what it's given so far and how people are enjoying it. But then even as I'm saying that, I thought of like all the bugs that, Halo's multiplayer had, around launch and maybe a little bit into its lifespan. Like what was it? People were like walking through walls or people were hacking the game. I mean, there was just a lot of weird stuff going on.
Master Chief Collection has and had a ton of bugs, which was the last 343 joint. This game, and Chris mentioned it in chat, it's just a sheer shortage of things to do. The game shipped without a free-for-all death. The game still, like, what is it, 7 maps for deathmatch right now, or for Slayer, and only 3 big team battle maps. Like, this is a very minimal thing. And then like go to the ongoing game experience, right? These events. They have recycled the same event twice already, which is like Fiesta mode, where basically both your weapons are randomly chosen each time you spawn. It's like, And not to mention their battle pass grind mechanic sucked. They've had to rework that too. I'm
Right.
glad this guy. I'm honestly glad that this guy is leaving Halo Infinite, because he has not done a great. He's not. Yeah, he's not done a great job, and maybe it's not entirely his fault, but he's the lead for the multiplayer side of it.
It falls on him, right?
The multiplayer side of things, from a hit detection tick rate thing that Chris and I have talked about on our Halo streams, from a level design standpoint, or just your lack of levels, from the lack of modes in the game, there are more modes in Halo 3 than there are Infinite. That doesn't make any sense.
You know, and I'm also a little worried about this too. Like, I hope this doesn't become a common trend with not just games, again, games of this stature, like Halo and Street Fighter, whether you have to pay for it or not. Like, you would think for titles this big, the entire team would be like, hey, y'all, the next Halo's coming. It's like the second coming of Jesus Christ, or I guess in this case, you know, the upteenth, return of the game. And I'm like, bro, how on earth are all these modes and all these features not available? And the ones that are available are getting hacked and just treated improperly. Like, how is this happening? This is just unacceptable.
Let me ask you a question for both of you. Even you, Chris. With COVID-19, and COVID development, basically, with the COVID development cycle and the trouble that this game has had, do you feel like it's better for them to stagger the release and put it out piecemeal like the way they've been doing, just so people have something to play, or should they have just waited until everything was done?
I feel
No
like
matter how long it took with all of the, even with the COVID development cycle.
I would have liked to see them wait. I think for somebody like myself who spent we all have, a lot of time in competitive gaming, that, okay, multiplayer's here. So if nothing else, like, we can run this multiplayer, we can, do what we got to do. But like, there are some just Halo enthusiasts I just want to see it all done properly, who are going to say, hey, I've been running multiplayer for a while. Let's do some co-op campaign. Or, hey, I just want to run single player for a while. Or, hey, I just want to run an experience where people aren't just hacking the game. I think they should have waited. For something like Halo, dude, how could you fumble this?
So, I mean, they already did by a year, right? This was supposed to be a launch title for Series S and X, right? So you had a full year after the launch of your console. Granted, there weren't many consoles to buy because of the chip shortage, right?
Well, yeah.
But they waited a whole damn year already. So it's like, were fans really willing to wait even more for this?
I think that was what it was.
I'm going to say no. Not to mention, like, okay, multiplayer has issues. Single player also has issues, but it was done. So it wasn't like they couldn't sit on that anymore. Now you could argue that this game seems kind of, I don't know, what's the open world du jour? It's Elden Ring, right? And that game with the right hardware looks gorgeous.
Yes.
That's right.
Let's not say something we can't take back.
Look, I said with the right hardware compared to Halo.
It's a beautiful game.
You think Halo single player looks better?
I haven't played much of Halo single player, but I mean, Elden Ring, congrats on From Software for finally making a game that looks like it could run on the PS4. I'm not willing to go and buy them a box of cookies.
I will argue that I think even the single player for Halo doesn't feel complete because it's very lacking in biome diversity.
That's what I was gonna get at. That it felt rushed, Brian. Like, it felt, the whole project feels rushed. And also, having worked on things that, dev projects that you have scope limitations, Halo Infinite to me screams scope limitation, right? So they sat down probably at E3 last year or whatever the hell it was, inside Xbox, and they were like, what can we get out the door by the end of this year? And that's what they did. It wasn't like, this is the best thing we've ever done. It was, what can we get out the door and not be completely embarrassed? And I don't know if you remember, but they were pretty strategic with when they pushed out Halo multiplayer or Infinite multiplayer. It was that weekend of the Battlefield 2042 launch.
Yes.
And Call of Duty was having their issues too.
And COD was having problems. So they took advantage of a moment where other FPS games were struggling, and you could argue 2042 is still struggling.
Yeah, all of a sudden that multiplayer beta was just like the hot thing.
Yeah, and it's as someone who really likes Halo, Halo Infinite scratches the itch differently than Halo 5 did, than the Master Chief Collection did, than 4 did, than ODST did. Really, I haven't felt like this about a Halo game 3 or 2. And then I played a decent amount of Reach. I didn't like Reach's multiplayer as much as I do Infinite's. So I would say, like, I'm having more fun and I'm playing this in spite of all of its problems. So, like, that's my theory, is that even though there are a raft of issues with Halo Infinite multiplayer, it's still the best Halo multiplayer experience we've had in like a decade.
That's saying
And
something.
for hardcore players, or for players that have been out of the game for a while, it's good enough. Is it good enough to keep people interested? Which was like one of your original questions.
Yeah.
No. You go look at the Steam numbers. They fell off a cliff. But that's, you could also argue that part of that had to do with the single player being available on Game Pass, and Steam doesn't have Game Pass. So people, like I myself, moved my Haloing over to the Xbox app from Steam. So I'm no longer a Steam concurrent. But I think it's bigger than that. I think people have moved on to other games. I think Elden Ring has come out, and it's a more polished single player experience than Halo. And Halo's, I think the problem, like, everyone's like, oh, it's an open world Halo. And I'm like, is it? It's like there's elements of open world to it.
Yeah.
But
even
then
those
It's
world
more
elements
like Stalker
feel,
Shadow of Chernobyl than it is open world.
yeah. I was gonna say it just feels like a big open, like a big outdoor map rather than a huge open
A
world.
large non-linear level, a la the first Crisis.
Yeah, it's not. In my opinion, it's calling it open world is kind of dubious. So I know they called it that, but you compare it to other open world games, which, like I said, Elden Ring is the thing right now. People are going to be playing Elden Ring 400 hours.
For years. People will be playing that game for years.
There's no one out there that's going to play Halo single player for that long. There's just not that much there. It's very empty. And that's the danger.
It seems like it's obvious that they plan on releasing content for the single player, right? More biomes, more story, whatever.
When, man? When?
Exactly,
This studio is like, mañana. It's like the refrain from them. Oh, come back next week. Come back next month. Come back next quarter.
Yeah,
it's like, I get, no, Video Game Donkey, he wouldn't even include it on his top 10 list. He said that I'll include Halo Halo Infinite on my top 10 list when it's done.
Done.
I mean,
I think that's a proper take.
I think that's the take we leave this on, actually. We've talked enough about Halo. We've covered the story.
What was Chris going to say? I want to hear what Chris had to say.
I was going to go back to, Brian, your original question is, in hindsight, do we want to talk about them waiting to put this out or doing their staggered release? And now that we have the benefit of the hindsight, I don't think it matters because we got the staggered release and they never added content or did anything to it months after. Like, I agree that the decision to release this thing when it was hot to get all that buzz, that was definitely a spike for Microsoft. That was, everybody's happy about that. But you almost get the idea playing this game now here in March that I don't know that was their original plan. And I felt like maybe they had this in the bucket and they're like, let's move this up now to score these points, because nothing they've done indicates that they're following through with the grand plan with the way this goes. Oscar's already mentioned it with the lack of maps, modes, content, and all that. It just feels off for something that, like you mentioned before, should have been their standout. This is the centerpiece of the Xbox ecosystem. And it feels like they were more interested in getting that quick push, the holiday sales for people they thought they could still sell this to on the old Xbox while no one could get new Xboxes. And, we also don't know how much of that old ass Xbox is holding back what they can do on this game, because everything they have to do has to be done.
Oh, I'm sure it's holding it back quite a bit
in mind.
Yeah. But yeah, to cap it off, I think you're right. I think it just feels like a squandered opportunity, right? Like they had a huge momentum swing. They had a good push with the beta and even the launch of the game, but it just seems like they've just wasted that opportunity now.
But that's the thing, like 20 million people have played this game, at least. They view it as a success. Halo's, the HCS, like, honestly, it's an entertaining esport. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
watched much of it, but it's actually popping off, and Microsoft has money behind it. But it's really clear that Microsoft is like, well, we have a multiplayer live service game now, so we're just going to support it like it's a multiplayer live service.
Mhm.
And it's like, hey, what about the people who wanted to play co-op? You know, like, hey, what about Forge mode, which they also kicked the can down the road on Forge? Like,
Mhm.
I agree with what Chris said, and we can move on from here. But
All
like,
their lip service to building for a PC experience first, which is everyone I guess should have known was a lie to begin with. But
yeah, it's just
yeah,
like
at least let us
with
rebind the keys for Christ's sake.
yeah, like yeah, we can move on after this, but like I guess the point is, if you gave them 6 more months, I don't think we get anything else. like what exactly would we have gotten?
Yeah, 343 has shown in their history that product management of this scale may not be their strongest suit, going back to the MCC and all that. And they had multiple other studios help. Like, I remember Saber Interactive did a shitload of that MCC port for the PC work for them. So
Yep.
I'm assuming that they were all busting ass on Infinite the entire time when that was going on. So it's just
Yeah,
Microsoft,
I
get your
just
shit together.
like I go back to like I said, let's move on. Microsoft's worth like over $2 trillion. We can't just be like, oh, poor old 343 hat in hand. It's like, no, you're the second largest company on earth. You can scale up if you really want to make this better. You
Gotta
just
tighten
choose
up.
not to. You know, they
You gotta
choose not.
spend the money.
That being said, I play this game every day. It's my favorite FPS that's shipped in the last 5 years when it comes to multiplayer, despite all of its problems.
Well, that's going to do it for Halo. Let's move on to our biggest story of the day, by far, the one that's going to take a lot of our time. This is Ultimate Summit
Rodney is
4.
pregnant. Oh,
That's
hang
right.
on.
Oh, no.
Saving that for the
No.
end of the show.
Don't spoil the surprise.
Sorry.
We all knew about Ultimate Summit 4. We knew it was happening. It happened over the weekend. It had some pretty crazy matches. I mean, Leo lost. Like, Leo lost
But
early.
no. He didn't lose. Proto Banham won.
Yeah, Proto Banham won this weekend for sure. Like, it
Rod,
was very
talk
impressive.
about this.
Yes.
Can we talk
Min-Min,
about Proto real quick, Rod?
yes, please.
Rod,
Let's get into it.
Rod, have you seen this level of gamesmanship from anyone in recent history? Because the eye drops, the calling, he literally pulled his phone out and called his translator. It's against the rules to do that. Like,
he iced MK Leo out. I'm not saying that that's all that was used to defeat Leo. I mean, of course, he had to obviously be the better player, but he played like. And see, this is my issue. When people on Twitter in the fighting game community, most specifically Smash, are just like the Japanese players this and the Japanese players that. I feel like there's this forced lore, this forced lineage of if you're from Japan, then everything you do is just automatically cooler. Everything you do is automatically tighter than what you could do over here in America. Despite Americans having the better record, you know, in most games over there, you know, if you're Japanese, whatever. If any other player from America did that shit, they would be hot. If any other player from America played Min-Min on a consistent basis like Proto, they would get so much shit for it. Now, with that being said, I do like Proto's Min-Min. I actually like Min-Min as a character from a design standpoint, from innovative, you know, whatever. I think the character plays true to form. I am also in the camp of believing that that character should not have been DLC and that they should have been available at launch alongside Inkling and a handful of other characters. However, the character is very, very strong. And I've seen people on Twitter talk about these nerfs. This character needs to be nerfed. Look, there are some characters that you can nerf into the ground. Smash for a Bayonetta, you can make every attack do 10%, 2%, 3%. The fact of the matter is that the character can do things other characters can't. So this is beyond a nerf. This character needs a redesign, which is never going to happen. But Proto, phenomenal player. He's one of the few players I know that utilizes the wave land backwards in Ultimate. That is a very underutilized mechanic. I mean, virtually in this current state of the meta, not really even needed in the first place, but the fact that he does it so well, effortlessly, says a lot. And two, his Min-Min is dangerous, and he knows that MKLeo struggles with fucking Min-Min, and I think he knew going into that set he was going to win. I think he knew he was going to win that.
But he was doing some wild ass shit, Rod, like not choosing Min, like pulling out that pocket Cena that he, because he wanted to keep his opponents on their toes, right? It wasn't just, I think the delays a lot of the time were not just eye drop related. He had this sheet in front of him that he looked at that sheet. 30 minutes of that stream was just Proto staring at that paper, Rod.
Oh,
and it came down to Min Min versus Lucina, I guess, for him most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, probably shouldn't have kept doing that with Light, because he really pissed Light off something.
I think so. Light will hold I'm not saying Light will hold a grudge, but Light will make you answer for your war crimes, unlike some of the other players. He just kind of has that type of thing in him. And so
the commentators were talking like Light was already losing to Proto before the game even started. So they got under his skin. And then he gets up there. He gets up there with him, and Proto pulls out the eye drop. And I could just see Light just get even more angry. And that set, he 3-0'd him. Like, after Leo loses in 4 games, mind you, Proto beat game 4 Leo. Now, let's be very clear here. Ain't no Joker showing up for game 4.
No.
Joker gone. So, like, maybe that whole game 4 Leo might be gone too, at least for now. Because he's really one of the only top tier players who picks Violet for some reason. And then he's good with Aegis too. But like Leo's kind of got a similar thing going on where he keeps bouncing between characters. I think a lot of really, really good Smash players right now are struggling with picking between their 2 mains, and also struggling with matchup. And we've seen this with Dabuz for years, right? Dabuz has 3 mains, and I think Min Min was even in his rotation at one point. But I think like we're seeing that, and I think Proto is an example of that. He was really sitting there trying to figure out what is the best matchup, but also definitely delaying things. You could see Leo get annoyed.
Right.
And I was like, normally that never happens.
Mm-hmm.
He usually keeps his cool. But like Proto got under again. And like just from a competitive standpoint, I applaud him for the trolly nature of his strat.
Yeah.
From a viewer standpoint, I was like, how could you not view this guy as the bad guy? Right?
It's very easy to. I've never been particularly fond of most of the Japanese players. I think there was the early narrative of, well, they play characters that you don't typically get to see. Aren't you tired of seeing Sheik and Bale and Cloud? I'm like, I am tired of those damn characters. Don't get it twisted. However, I also don't want to see these other characters piloted this type of way either. So I guess you got to give a little to get a little in that context. But I think Proto, all trolliness aside, is a very powerful player. We talk about early narratives. I know they talk about Spargles a lot, where he was beating all of the people on Wi-Fi. Then he started showing up to locals and whooping everybody's ass, blah, blah, blah. Well, Proto had a very similar thing when he first came over to America as well. If I'm not mistaken, it was CEO 2019 where he came over, and it was like a really big deal. Like, how well is he going to do? How nice is the gameplay? How nice is the Lucina? And he came over and he proved his worth. I mean, CEO that year was stacked as hell. So, I mean, he didn't place like how he did obviously here at Summit with only 16 players, but he still did very well for himself. So there was no doubt in my mind that we weren't going to see him be this later on. I just didn't know that Min Min was going to be the character. I was definitely afraid when I heard that the Japanese players started picking Min Min up, because I was like, my American brethren ain't going to be able to handle that.
But there are some. I mean, Fox beat Min Min. You know what I mean? Like Light. And I just think it's hilarious. Light described himself as using a low tier character. Fox being a low tier, which is the biggest bunch of propaganda I've ever heard in my life.
The worst.
But seeing that it goes back to what I'm saying. There are counter picks for Min Min.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that some top players don't match up well with Min Min at all. I think Leo was kind of figuring out Min Min, which is why Proto switched to Lucy.
Right.
Like that first game of their set, I guess it was in the losers bracket. That back half, I think Leo lost the stock real quick. and then it was pretty close for the rest of the match. The next round, Proto does his little 5-minute interlude, and then switches to Lucina, and then back again. Like it was really interesting to watch that matchup. But I do think that, like, I'm not, but I don't think Min Min is some sort of unstoppable. I guess is my.
No, not at all. I think, and this is an issue I think culturally Smashers have, is that they just don't play other games. And I know like people like to say that as a joke, but in all reality, when I see matches like Min Min, or when I even see like what Bowser did in the middle of Smash 4, I'm like, if you play other fighting games, you should know other types of characters. Not everybody can be Fox and Bayonetta. Not everybody can be Sheik. These characters that have these touch of deaths and that can kill you in 3 hits. Some characters have to work the neutral a little differently. A character like Min Min in my world doesn't bother me because I played ample amounts of Street Fighter as a young man. So I'm used to Dalsim and characters I can hit you from across the screen. Most players who play Smash can't deal with that. And she obviously is different because she can, swing 2 arms at the same time, can swing forward and backwards. But there are characters that can get in between her and her arms. And with a character that's that long, you have to make them swing first. Okay, where are they swinging? This is how I get in between them and whatever type of arm that they have equipped at the moment. And for what it looked like with Proto, the damn dragon arm and the ram were getting the job done. Like, you didn't really need the megawatt because, I mean, ram is enough for Leo at the ledge, or most characters really at the ledge, but especially Leo's characters.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think it was nice to see Light at least put a stop to that, because we could have had a really interesting grand final if it was Mexico versus Japan.
Yeah.
Spargo versus Proto Banham there. But yeah, Light represented for America. I heard people were like, "Oh, it's East Coast." I'm like, I think he's the only American left in the tournament.
Yeah, it's a little bit different
East Coast will take it when they can get it, right? I mean,
that's right.
They're getting their representation.
Yeah.
No, but speaking of Spargo, let's talk about Spargo a little bit, shall we? I mean, wins his first offline major ever.
Gets a knife.
Yeah.
Why did they hand that boy a knife?
It's a knife.
Like, what are they doing here, Rod?
Is that child endangerment? I don't know.
He came down those stairs over a summit. He looked so confused when they handed him a knife. Like, he was like, "What am I supposed to do?"
So if you win the Smash World title, do they just give you a live grenade? What the hell happens?
I don't know. But he did secure, I think, was the 3rd largest bag ever in the history of sports.
Wow.
For a 16-year-old who 2 years ago no one really knew about except for
just
the Wi-Fi. To go from Wi-Fi to offline, with the same character, Rod.
Sponsor.
With the same character, right? This is a cloud main to his core. Doesn't matter if you're playing online or offline. He's a cloud main. There aren't that many top tier cloud mains. There are people that they're top players that use cloud, but not as their main, right? Like, this is kind of a big deal to see. I know Cloud in Smash 4 was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
But here in Ultimate, it hasn't been that, like, we've seen people pull out Cloud, but
yeah,
his Cloud is something.
His Cloud is the Cloud, and there are scarier characters. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was just about to say that I agree with Pyro where it really can be. I think anyone could bring out any character with a game like Ultimate. We have not seen.
Except Kirby.
This is not the first time we're going to be surprised by somebody bringing out a character that is not usually part of the meta. This meta is not over, and more to the point that we were speaking of earlier, where people now have 2 or even 3 mains. I mean, I think that is also a evolving meta where it's in some cases not enough to survive on one main. You need to know multiple matchups.
I think it's almost like you have to have 2 characters and then a 3rd just in case for a different matchup.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that. Even looking at, and again, not to go back to Leo too much, but we talked about his Joker. But I'm in the camp of believing that, Leo's Joker is still a very 2019 Joker, if that makes sense. And the meta has kind of changed with that character. We've learned how to combat it. We've learned how to, work around it. There are still some Jokers that are being played at top level, but, when you have too many characters, sometimes they all don't quite get like the MK Leo patch and update where like I'm playing this character through the different types of meta and now they're Ultimate Summit 4 ready. Like your Joker is Evo 2019 ready. It's not Ultimate Summit 4 ready. But I think of all the narratives attached to Spargo, I think the one that doesn't get enough shine and recognition is the fact that he's doing a lot of this with Cloud. A character that we've very quickly wrote off in the beginning of this game. A character that we think, well, there's other characters that can charge up and be absolutely ridiculous. Why would we keep playing Cloud when, I can just swing with Pyro and Mithra any which way I want to? But he's proving that, hey, you guys are, let's just put it this way, you're lucky that it's just Cloud with the splash of Pyro and Mithra and not a better character or a character like Min, and for that I'm very thankful. But I think another thing too with Spargo, I'm excited to see where he's going to go next with this. I know that he's just won, like, I think we just said like the third biggest bag, but sponsorships, I think more than anything else, when you see a player this young, this full of life, this phenomenal on the sticks, you can't help but to wonder, well, what's next?
He's going to get picked up by like Cloud9 or TSM or someone
he has
big.
To. Well, and because people keep saying, well, where's he getting the sponsor? Blah, blah, blah. I said, guys, think about all the like, again, no disrespect to like Armada, but like think about all the sponsors at that level who've probably reached out to him. He's probably said no to a lot. He's probably just waiting for the right one.
Well, also maybe he was waiting for his first W because now he's going to get a little bit more attention than he did before. Yeah. It's one thing to be second place to Leo, but now to beat Leo, right, in the winner's side, send Leo down to losers, I think is what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And to beat Light after losing to Light at SmashCon, like, I think this is the time for Spargo to get a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
And this is that moment. I'm not saying the torch has been passed or anything, because I think MK Leo's still probably the best player in the world, and probably super motivated after what
Leo still got major wins left to go for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, him and Spargo are friendly with each other in practice in Mexico to get stuff. So like I think that this was a huge win for just the Mexican scene in general, right? That Leo loses and there's still a Mexican champion. Speaks to how big Mexico has become Smash scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With Meister having a decent showing too. I think Meister's more a victim of his main than anything. But but yeah, like I definitely want to see Spargo get some love from sponsors. I just, who knows? Esports teams are weird about sponsoring Smash players. There are, I don't know, Rod, you could probably confirm this better than me, but it seems like there's less orgs involved when Smash 4 was kind of going on.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to actually compare their narrative to two individuals in Smash 4's narrative that's kind of similar that are no longer with us. But the whole being kind of second best thing doesn't quite get, I don't know, it just doesn't quite get some of these teams' wheels just churning anymore. I think, you have like E United. I think they had Sam Sora for a while, but of course we see what happened with that. I know NRG was involved the type of way. Liquid is still involved with the buzz, obviously. Evil Geniuses, they had Zenodo a couple years back, back when he was doing really well. So, it happens, but I think with how fickle, some of these narratives are in Smash Ultimate more than anything, because I think we can all agree that Smash Ultimate's narrative was severely hurt by COVID plus 2020 summer. They're probably a little hesitant, and I respect them for that. However, I do think somebody like Spargo is a young man that shows a lot of promise. This isn't going to be I'll just put it this way. I don't want to be disrespectful because I think Tweak is a phenomenal player, but I don't foresee Spargo having like a Tweak scenario where like my position and how good I am is now in jeopardy because I'm not only just losing to Leo, I'm losing to all these other people I should not be losing to in X, Y, and Z. Not saying that because Tweak has it, he's a bad player, but I just don't see Spargo with that. Spargo just has something a little bit different in him that I think some of these teams are going to want. They're not going to pick anybody up that they're not going to flex. They're going to get their money's worth out of, whether that means content creation, interviews, whatever it is that you have to do as a top player. Like, I feel like there's a lot of promise of that in Spargo, and some of these teams just need to look a little harder.
Yeah, I think with Spargo, if you're a sponsor, you're getting a very young player. And when you talk about Leo, when you talk about Tweak or Light, These are guys in their 20s,
Mm-hmm.
which is ancient in esports.
Well,
Spargo's an up and comer. So you talk about value for the long run for an esports rod. I think Spargo's got a long future ahead of him. Obviously, he's like still learning a lot of stuff from a content creation standpoint, or just being an individual on the internet, and also as a player. Like, we probably haven't seen Spargo at his best yet, which is kind of crazy to say.
very, very scary. And then we said the same with Leo too. When him and Zero were playing all those years ago, and
Yeah.
he started getting better. And then like there's a list of top players that he's beaten, and then sooner or later you're like, wait a minute, this guy is either beaten or outplays more than half of the PGR. I think this is something to look into. And now he's not only just making players like in that elegant category. That's still that top high professional level, but not quite like that Leo, Zero, whatever, like that caliber of player. You're making them sweat. The only players left are now those players in like that top 5 areas. So I do think Spargo's going to show a lot of promise, and he's even held himself accountable too. When he first started showing up to offline majors, they were saying, he's good, but blah blah blah. And he'll say, "Hey, look, I'm still young. Like I hear the talk, I hear the chatter. I'm still young. I'm getting better. Just give me a couple more months, a couple more years, and we'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about." And he's proven everybody correct.
That's another good point where you say, he says he's getting better. Like, he's getting better, right? He's not like, this guy has not peaked, obviously, not even close to peaked yet. So yeah, we still have a lot of great things to see from Spargo. It's going to be a career to watch.
This is a huge win, and he can take this momentum into Genesis, which is still largely viewed as the Super Bowl for Smash.
Yep.
I think Genesis is now even going to be more hype. With I think a very new, angry MK Leo in the wings. I don't think Leo is going to just roll over and say, I'm no longer the king.
No, because Leo used to be the king of winning West Coast events. He won, some of those later sagas, some of those early or later Genesis. Is that plural for Genesis? Genesis events? Genesis. Sorry, y'all, Ebonics, but he won a couple of those. And, obviously he just lost the last one to Mars, so I'm sure he's looking to reclaim that. He's already got Evo under his belt. The only Evo for Smash Ultimate, mind you. Let's fix that. So he's coming. He's coming.
Yeah.
The only Evo that will ever be for Smash Ultimate.
That's true.
He has that title.
Yeah. Evo Smash Ultimate World Champion.
His Evo run was magical. It was his losers bracket run at Evo was the stuff of legend. I remember when he lost in pools or whatever, and I was in the pools at the time, and it was just the murmur, the talking when that happened. It was wild. Because I think it was like round at 256 or 512 or something. He lost very early, and then just went on this maniac run. Obviously resetting the bracket against Tweak and shaking Tweak's confidence for a few years there. I credit Spargo because see the people that he was playing against yesterday. It wasn't like he dodged any of the best players in the world.
No, not at all.
This wasn't like some lucky bracket stuff. This was just being better, and didn't lose a single set the whole tournament.
That is also true. He was certainly the best player in the room. I think this even and I know we can't talk about this forever, but I think this even ties into maybe another narrative is that, some of these guys took all of February off. And again, I've never been a top professional player. I'm not exactly sure what their training regimens were. I'm sure that they do practice with each other off to the side, but maybe that month off from tournaments kind of came back to bite them in the butt. I know that they were planning on probably taking February off to begin with, and I don't blame them. I get that because there's no frostbite anymore. But there was a lot of days in February to be playing Smash. I don't know if that they used it to train up, but I tell you one thing though, if nobody else did, God damn it, Spargo did, and he proved it.
But I don't think he was traveling much in February either. He was just at home.
Yeah. Probably just at home practicing up with other people and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think that the online experience that he had in 2020, do you think that helps? Because he did win some online.
I mean, I can't say it. I mean, some players do say it hurts to, practice off online and play online tournaments. It does hurt your offline uh,
Oh, I'm not
mojo or
talking about
whatever. But
the mechanic. I'm talking about the psychology of winning a tournament.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think Spargo's earliest origins with the game start with online, if I'm not mistaken, because
Yes.
before he started showing up locally in like 2018 and 19, he was online a lot in a lot of those, I want to say, the night food tournaments and just pretty much whatever online tournament he can get his hands on. Because again, he was just a small kid; he couldn't really go to anything. And to be honest, looking back on things as a parent, I probably would have wanted my kid that young at some of these events anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that he came when he did, and I think that more than anything, I would hate to. I want to say Sparkle's like a goddamn day walker. He's like Blade or some shit. He's like the best of both worlds if you think about it. Like he can walk out in the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like he can do whatever it is that he needs to do to win, no matter what the format. And
Yeah, the offline online
Yeah,
threat.
because I just
that's
think
rare.
this is a huge win for the Wi-Fi warrior.
Yeah,
Because
really.
they get labeled, they get
Yeah,
a stigma attached to them, and up until recently, like Spargo hadn't won the big game yet.
that's
You
true.
know, and some of those, I do think Summit is a little different than winning at Smash Con or winning at Genesis because there's not a big ass crowd behind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, there's not as
Genesis.
many players either.
Yeah, but Genesis, you're like in a room, and it's just you and the other dude, and
Mhm.
maybe a cameraman. So I just think it's a little different compared to the crowd that you're going to see at. So I still
Yeah.
think like Genesis is, if he can win Genesis and this back to back, then we got some really
Really.
interesting going on. But
Agreed.
I'm not dogging this victory at all. I'm just saying that it's a little different to do it in front of a crowd. I think Rod
Yeah.
would agree with that.
I agree. I agree. And he is pretty good about proving the naysayers wrong. But you are right, 100%.
Oh, trust me, not naysaying. I think it's very inspiring to see a 16-year-old,
Oh no, not
come
you.
up
I meant
from
like
nothing.
just the people in the crowd.
Yeah,
Like, there's always like the hecklers, like you're just a kid and blah blah blah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
he's pretty much dealt with that since he's got here. Because right when he got here, he started getting pitted against Larry Lur and Void and Elegant who fought in SoCal. So I mean, they're
Yep.
already comparing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, congratulations, Mario. That was an amazing tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah, congratulations to Spargo. Congratulations to all the players, everyone who put on a excellent Ultimate Summit, the fourth one. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, and shout out to Beyond the Summit. Like they
Yeah.
they do some amazing work over there. They keep their players safe, they treat their commentators right, and it's a good production.
Yeah, it
It's
looked
always
like they were
fun.
having a lot of fun behind the scenes for sure.
It's fun, except for the Mafia. Yes.
That's right. All right, well, moving on from Ultimate Summit 4, we mentioned Genesis a lot, there. Obviously, the comparisons are there. And if Genesis is the Super Bowl of Smash, I guess you could say Smash World Tour is the World Cup of Smash. Yeah, and it looks like we have more Smash World Tour news coming soon. An announcement has been made that there will be an announcement made on March 9th at
Wait,
6
what?
p.m. Eastern.
Did they seriously pull the announcement of an announcement thing?
They sure did.
Sure did.
Gimmer, why?
That's right. Gimmer has big news. It's so big that the news must be announced ahead of time.
No, just the fact that the news is happening
Yes,
is being announced.
that's right. All reaction live streams are welcome. Apparently, it's going to be so big that people are going to be reacting to this live. I know that we might have something to say about it after the announcement is made, so you definitely want to stay tuned to Shacknews about that. We definitely have some predictions, though. I mean, Rod, you're our man on the inside when it comes to Smash World Tour. You
All
got
right.
anything for us?
Listen, I've heard the background.
Don't break
chat.
any embargoes or anything. Keep your job.
Well, what's funny is they haven't sent me anything yet. So, I mean, as of right now, this is all just speculation on Shacknews. And I feel like most of our speculative theories as of late have been pretty much on the nose. Or if not, because we know an industry, you can kind of guess where this is going. But this has been kind of strange these last so many months because, first and foremost, I don't want to redig up this narrative, but Panda Global and Nintendo, they announced the thing. It wasn't an announcement of an announcement. It was just the one announcement. But they announced the thing, and then
they haven't said anything since.
They haven't said anything since. And I thought that was a little strange. But however, given COVID and everything else, I understand that they probably are just waiting to read the terrain. But as you're waiting, other companies are waiting. Now here's the Smash World Tour. Gimmer and the gang, these guys do the Smash World Tour, which is essentially 25 events a year, offline and online, depending on whatever the format's asking for. Plus a Smash Con, Pound, 2 glitches, a double down. I mean, they have enough events just right there to do their own circuit, not even counting the ones that they partner with out of country.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at it this way, now I'm not saying the Smash World Tour wasn't a big deal. I'm not saying it wasn't a big deal. But for people watching this, mark this right now, okay? Because just in case I get this right, I don't want anybody to be like, oh, Rod knew. I feel like Smash World Tour and Nintendo might be actually working together. I mean, I think that's the only thing that could warrant 2 announcements like this. The only thing. That's just my take on it. Go ahead, Asif and Blake. I'm sure you got something to say.
You think Nintendo?
Or Brian, rather. I'm sorry. I keep saying Blake. Brian.
You think...
Damn.
Damn.
No wonder Phil left.
You think Nintendo? I mean, this.
Yeah, and EA's gonna fix 2042. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Let's
crazier things happen, but I don't know.
Would that taint the Smash World Tour for you, Asif? If Nintendo partnered with it? Okay.
I want players to make more money. So if Nintendo finally realizes that they could chip like $5 million into a prize pool for Smash, like they could do that tomorrow, and I think it would be awesome. So no, that's not an issue for me at all. I think it'd be great. What I like about VG Bootcamp and everything they've done so far is it's been kind of community driven, homegrown sort of stuff. So I don't know. I have no idea. I have no earthly idea what this could possibly be. But I really do love VG Bootcamp Productions, like what they do. I thought the World Tour, they handled the issues that they had to deal with COVID very well last year and the year before, and I'm hopeful that this is more just an announcement of actual dates and maybe a structure, because we don't, like right now, Rod, there's no PGR, right? It's been put on hold again.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're going to come up with their own rankings. I don't know.
Wow.
You know, I mean, that would be, and again, I know that both parties aren't malicious like this, but that would be a really good answer back. Like, hey, you guys are doing the tour now. Well, you guys do the tour. We got our own ranking system. So boom. You know, I'd be lying if I said, you know, there hasn't been the background chatter of like, can one exist without the other? Can Nintendo do this? Can Nintendo do that? I've heard some people say that, well, Nintendo actually really liked the Smash World Tour. And I've heard some talk of, you know, the Nintendo is just kind of like, they're just not even worried about it. You know, they're just doing their own thing, which I would not be surprised of, you know, either of the two, to be real. I think it works out in Nintendo's favor to let somebody like VG Bootcamp do the first one, and then maybe they come in and do their own smaller one, slightly more Mario coin attached to it. Who knows? Because I'm with you, Austin. I'd like to see these players make more money and play the games that they love for a living, because this is what they're spending their young years doing. But I think Smash World Tour was a great experience. I had a lot of fun. It sucks that a good chunk of it was off or online, but the ones that were offline were great to attend. And if this next one is supposed to be all offline, then of course most people in the community are going to show up and show out for this. But I can't help but to feel that Smash World Tour is just missing it's missing a something. I don't know what it is. It's missing, like, you know, Genesis has like that thing. You know, CEO has that thing. When you see it and you hear about it, you're like, there's a thing that just, Smash World Tour has that. You know, it has the narrative of, hey, we've never had this before, and now we're doing it. But now
is there an event happening in Las Vegas that's part of Smash World Tour?
You know, I don't know.
Because that to me seems like the obvious thing here. Because we don't have an Evo, right, for Ultimate or Melee. Like maybe that's it. There's like some, because like we were talking about, like there's not. It's like, I know there was like a final for the World Tour or whatever. It was in Florida last year, right?
Yeah.
But like, it didn't have the hype around it that I think like you said, a Genesis or an Evo would. So maybe they're working on something like that.
I think so too. I mean, it would be really in their best interest, to get as many of these big tournaments on there as possible. I know that Double Down being around the time Evo would have been worked out very well and Gamer in all their favor. But I think for something like this, and I'm just going to go ahead and give a hot take again, and this is an industry hot take that I've had forever, but I've always felt like we have all these circuits, we have all these production companies, and the fact that they exist is good. It's a sign of that, us as a fighting game, as a subsection of the fighting game community, we have been homegrown, like you said, Asif, and we've never had company support, and we built all this shit from the ground up. However, you got VG over here, with a set amount of tournaments on a circuit. Then you got BTS over here who can stream Genesis and the Big House and all these other tournaments. So just the sheer nature of that means that you don't get, Genesis and stuff on the Smash World Tour. And now I even think a couple years ago, BAM and ESA tried to do their own circuit right before Smash Ultimate came out. And then Thunder Gaming tried their own circuit too. I think SmashCon was on it for like a month, and then that never came to fruition because technicals just burned the company to the ground. And so it won't be until we see everybody really get together and we can get one thing kind of streamlined that will really see the community flourish the way it's supposed to. Even if Nintendo Circuit had $1 billion attached to it, the fact that it's probably going to be missing a couple tournaments or maybe missing, hell, just VG and everything they bring to the table with their 6 or 7 events they do a year. I just don't know, man.
Well, here's a crazy idea.
I'm listening.
What if this announcement is that VG Bootcamp has been acquired?
Ooh.
By Electronic Arts.
by Electronic.
So wait, the people in the chat have come up with this. So basically, there's a ROD global ranking out there.
It's ROD rank. Everybody knows about this.
ROD rank.
And then there's also ROD rank, and then there's also ROD Fest being.
ROD Fest, baby.
The top 16 ROD rankers are invited to Vegas once a year to the fancy hotel for ROD Fest, where they do it as big as they can, and they compete for the ultimate trophy in Smash competitive, the Lil Wody, which would be like a bronze ROD statue that would make this quarter scale. And everybody gets their name engraved on the bottom if they get it. Plus, they get to go out with dinner with ROD and have their picture taken. Like
that sounds like a good idea.
Fancy,
and Burger King is catering.
Yes.
And catered by Burger King. You know what? Scrap the Shacknews Invitational at South by. We're gonna do the ROD Fest. Awesome.
Rip.
It has
already. I talked to you about it.
I got bad news for you, Rod. I've already scrapped it.
Oh damn!
I tweeted it out in March 2020. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, VG, they've been doing this for a while, like almost 10 years, right? If not more than that.
Yeah.
And, it's a capital intensive business, and they've had a rough few years. Maybe this is a time for a bigger company to come in and help them. So maybe that's what
I think
could
so.
be an announcement of not only an acquisition, but using that to expand Smash World Tour with more offline events.
Well, or fuck, it could just be something dumb like Coinbase is going to contribute $1 million.
Oh damn!
The pool.
Well, when I interviewed Apostle at Glitch, he talked about wanting Glitch to be more than what it is and how it kind of took over, like kind of what the sagas were back in the day. And, I felt like, well, as cool as that is, what about the Smash World Tour? I mean, are we, and I hate to even ask this because I'm sure it goes without asking, but are we taking like the same sort of creative and financial, creative steps with Glitch? Are we taking those with the Smash World Tour? Because it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but Glitch seems to be a little bit more cut and dry with, here's the theme, here's how we're going to theme everything. But the Smash World Tour, I mean, when people see how many tournaments are on a circuit, they're like, okay, got to tune in for everyone. I don't want to miss a thing. And like, what's the incentive? What's the draw to get me out? And I think an acquisition would be enough. I mean, shit, dude, if Nintendo was like, yo, we bought Smash World Tour, we're doing a circuit, dude, everybody and their mom would be at every event. I mean, I would imagine y'all would come out I would finally be able to meet some of you in person.
Unfortunately, it's not Nintendo buying VG Boot Camp and doing a circuit that way since we already know about their Panda Global partnership. Yeah,
I
we'll just
know.
have to wait and see what it is on March 9th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Make
What if it's
sure.
Panda? What if it's Panda buying Smash World Tour?
Oh shit.
I don't know. Do they have that? Do they have that money? I have no
I don't
idea.
know, man. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. It's like maybe this is. I don't know. That's a lot. An announcement of an announcement kind of means that something big is coming, right?
Yep, it sure does. Well, Asif, that's not the only announcement of an announcement we have to talk about today.
Oh
Uh,
god.
we got to move on. Breaking news today. A lot to talk about still. Evo is making an announcement that they have announced today. They'll be revealing their official game lineup for their upcoming August 5th through 7th offline event, showcasing the whole game lineup for the tournament, along with special guests and things like that. That's going to be at 5 o'clock Pacific tomorrow on the 8th. So yeah, we don't get to know yet, but we know that they're going to be talking about it. What do you guys?
We know a
Do
few
you
things.
feel like this deserves the announcement of the announcement? I don't know. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I mean it does because now we know what time to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean we know what's gonna be here.
Yeah, we know
Like
because
Street
they
Fighter 5,
said
Tekken
what games they
7.
were looking at before. It's just Smash is now crossed off that list
I
completely.
I guess the question is, will Mortal Kombat be on the lineup? It should. Um, which Arc game? I guess Guilty Gear, right?
Yeah, Guilty
Yeah.
Gear
Strive.
did really well.
Yeah, so Strive should be on there. And I think Strive's fun as hell to watch. So like, there's 4 right there, and then
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. There's gonna be something weird instead of Smash.
When's Marvel?
I guess Rivals of Aether, if it can make it, that would be kind of awesome.
Or I mean, yeah, Rivals or Brawlhalla or
Yeah.
a platform fighter of some kind.
That would be like the one
Just to
outlier
to
here.
Smash.
I guess I'm curious if Samurai Showdown makes it back because I quite enjoy watching that live. It's pretty fun.
Hmm.
Problem with Samurai Showdown is nobody's gotten a chance to play it offline, practice it offline because the netcode is just atrocious, and there
No,
hasn't. Or online, I mean, and there hasn't been any offline tournaments for it, so nobody's really been
there have.
practicing.
It was played in the last in-person
That's
Evo.
right. Yeah, but that was the last Evo.
Yeah, the last. I guess it was 2019, right?
Yeah,
it was fun. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
No, it could definitely come back.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of games that like maybe people hadn't thought of. They were going to do that whole Marvel 20th anniversary thing, and then they scrapped it. So I was thinking maybe this is the year that we get Marvel back on here. That would be pretty hype, even if it's like an invitational kind of thing, like that top 16 invitational format, just like a 1 day off thing. But yeah, I don't know.
I want to ask another question though: are we still as excited for Evo as we used to be?
No.
Well, I mean, I am, but I've always seen Evo in these fighting game tournaments for what they actually are. So first, let me preface with this: never met Wiz once. Only ever seen him in passing. So I'm pretty big on people who hire me for things. I want to meet you. I want to put a face and name. We should shake hands. We should meet. Never met him. I have met Jabali on a numerous amount of occasions. Same with Rick as well. Rick definitely deserves all his flowers for taking on something like this, especially again just the stigma and the narrative attached to Evo a couple summers ago versus now. I'm still excited for it, but I've always seen these events for what they are. They are going to run Smash, or we're going to run Smash because financially it was the right thing to do, and they had a good pre-existing relationship with the Smash community, especially CEO and Evo, especially CEO. Yes, we do have a home for you. Yes, X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, we, just like any other business, want to thrive off of partnering with other companies, making cool things, doing stuff. Street Fighter runs itself at CEO. Tekken runs itself as CEO. Soul Calibur, Dragon Ball, these are companies with company support. And I'm not saying that Jabali or Rick or any of these guys have a fixated opinion on Nintendo versus supporting the community. I'm sure they want them to support too. But the fact of the matter remains the same. A bigger company is now in control. A bigger company is now calling the shots. We have to scrap what we have to scrap. and financially, it just makes more sense for us to scrap it too. We got other games with a stronger backing from their team or their respective companies. I hate it had to be that way for Smash. I mean, I'm always going to watch it and think of what Smash could have been here, but there's nobody really to blame but, the man in the overalls and the red hat. You know who to blame for this.
Ah, come on. You really think, like, look, I get it. Nintendo, bad. I get that. It's a good thesis. It works.
Well, I don't.
You
Well,
really
see, hold on.
think
I
Nintendo
don't.
wants to work with Sony on anything ever?
I don't think Nintendo is like terrible. I share some of the same views they have with like, hey, we built these IPs. We still have a say on how they should be used. But I think also from a competitive gamer, I'm like, yo, Evil's a big deal, and Sony is not gonna. We don't play nice with Sony. We never have. We never will. So we're just gonna kind of bow out of here.
PlayStation doesn't exist without Nintendo and Sony having beef, man.
That's true.
Like,
I'm with you.
there are people at that company, at both companies probably, that remember that falling out. And I don't think it's a tall order for Mr. Nintendo to cut a check to Sony. And that's
it
it
is.
was not an issue for them to cut a check to Evo. They had no problem with that for years, because it was obvious they pushed Smash 4 hard at Evo, right?
Yeah.
And they were pushing
Ultimate. It was a big part of it.
And they were pushing Ultimate at Evo. I think there was like a booth, like all sorts of stuff. So it's not that they had no problem with Evo. Maybe they had some problems with Evo, but they got beef. It's like it's a two-way street here. It's not just Nintendo being bad here. Sony and Nintendo hating each other, and that's just a story as old as the SNES. So I don't think it's just. We shouldn't look at it and be like, oh man, if only Nintendo had just given in. It's like, no.
No, yeah, I didn't see the announcement of Nintendo or the announcement that Evo put out saying that Nintendo won't work with them, to bring Smash to Evo, blah blah blah. It was worded very well in order to make Evo look like the good guys in that situation.
Right.
And yeah, it really
just easily say if only Evo wasn't acquired by Sony.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah, that's very true.
That's a good point. I see more. Even if Sony said it was cool, like, hey, we're still down to run this, I still see Nintendo saying no. I just don't see Nintendo doing anything that they like. If it's a different company, especially a competitor company that's in charge of it, like it's just not going to be a thing. Like even if Sony bought, or if Microsoft or Sony, one of the two, probably more Sony than Microsoft these days. I think Nintendo and Microsoft might be playing a little nicer. But if Sony bought DreamHack, we would never see, a Nintendo powered booth there and Nintendo nothing there. Now, if this just so happens to be two companies sharing a similar venue space, like what we see at the Evos in the past, sure. But I'm just hard pressed to believe
own that event in that situation. They're not
right.
cutting a check to them, just like Asif said.
That's right. Yeah, I find it really hard to believe that even if Sony said, yeah, you could come through and like do your thing, I still think Nintendo would be like, I'm not fucking with that.
No, there's no way.
I agree completely. But I think it was this was marketed in a way to make Nintendo look worse than they even are, is all I'm saying. Like, they knew. It's like, hey, McDonald's, do you want to sponsor Burger King? Like, no, of course we don't. We're across the street from your ass trying to sell hamburgers. Yeah, it's just, it's like Coke and Pepsi working together. That shit ain't happening.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's move on from the Evo announcement of the announcement. We'll see what the official game lineup is tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific. I'm sure we'll be talking about that announcement on the next show, so stay tuned.
Do you think we'll get some weird ones, Brian? Do you think we'll get like Duck Game or Windjammers 2 or something?
I think we'll get some side events like that announced, but I don't know if they'll be there in official tournament capacity.
Yeah, because those are honestly some of the more fun things to experience on the first few days
for sure. I hope we do get to see some cool stuff. Like Windjammers 2 would be great. That would be a lot of fun. Or like you said, if they were able to bring like a Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Invitational into it or whatever, just
that's
something. Yeah, just something to where, we get a little bit of fun on the side that isn't part of just the same old that we're going to see.
Mhm.
But moving on, we got to talk about a little bit of that same old when it comes to fighting game tournaments, and that's the Capcom Pro Tour. Obviously, one of the biggest names out there for competitive Street Fighter. They made this new announcement saying that if you're a tournament organizer and you want to run a Street Fighter Five event, then you're going to have to agree to a new community license agreement that they've put out that was designed to make it easier for TOs to run Street Fighter events instead of having a long turnaround on approvals. This whole thing was designed to make approvals much more streamlined and quick because you're basically agreeing to give everything away that would possibly make you money as a tournament organizer. And then Capcom can just be like, yeah, quick stamp on all of them because, we know that there's not going to be any money going to the TOs. We're going to get all the creative control and we're going to get all, they're stamping them all. It seems like, they would gauge that response from the community. It was obviously a huge backlash from the community. They would gauge that response and maybe, you know, ease up on the restriction or, come back with a, well, maybe we can take another look and try to talk to some of the, community, the tournament organizers in the community and see if we can come up with something a little more agreeable. But no, they're just doubling down. They're saying this is the way it's going to be. If you're running a Street Fighter V tournament, you got to use the ugly logo. You can't charge admission for spectators, which cuts out a huge revenue source for any TO. You can't have a prize pool of more than like $2,000. You also can't have any derivative works for your tournament, so you can't, make money off of it in any derivative way. It's just like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, how do events grow? I mean, I've never been a tournament organizer, but I know what type of person I am as somebody who is working towards goals. Like as a commentator, I was like, hey, I don't only just want to commentate these locals. One day I'm going to fucking Genesis. I don't give a fuck what anybody's saying about it. I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna work it. So I can only imagine as a tournament organizer thinking, damn, I want to host the next CEO. I want to host the next combo breaker, Evil. It just feels like there's so many stipulations to keep you away from that. Now, however, given what CEO and events like that were 10 years ago versus how much money you can acquire now with the right sort of pitch deck and whatever, you can probably make more money now, and I get that. Don't want some guys from the middle of nowhere, who ended up getting $100,000 stamping the Capcom Pro Tour thing on it and telling you to come through. I get that, but it's just weird that it's so low.
No, but it's even worse. Like the total prize pool for any given 12-month period has to be under $10,000.
Wow.
So if you're under 2,000 per event, let's say you do 1999, you can only do 5 events a year with prize
Or
pools that are less than
or you
$2,000.
could do one $10,000 event and then you're done. You're
No,
capped out.
no, can't.
Oh no,
You
because you
can't
can only
do.
do 2,000 in one event. Yeah. So
Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, your sponsorships can only be under $5,000 per event and under $20K for the whole year. Like you start to do the math, 10K plus 20K, that's 30K for 6 events. Who can do this?
That's pretty impossible.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
impossible. That's they're killing their regional scene. They're killing the grassroots. That's what they're doing. They're taking a page out of Nintendo's playbook. Nintendo's not even this draconian yet.
Well, yeah, true. We'll see. We'll see Wednesday, right? But yeah, I mean, I just don't get like so when you originally pitched this, it's like, okay, I see the want for something like this because there are a lot of tournaments that are very, very important that might not be on the Pro Tour. Like I think, and I could be wrong about this. I don't know. Like there's tournaments like East Coast Throwdown, the Fall Classic, tournaments like that are prestigious. I don't know if they have that Capcom Pro Tour stamp and seal of approval. And I think at this point in time in a lot of these organizers' careers, they're kind of like, we ain't got it by now. Our tournaments are still fucking fun. Who cares? But I liked this program past tense, but now that we're kind of breaking down the numbers and looking at it for what it probably is going to be, I just don't. I just there's just so many more opportunities to host a good event and I'm speaking for somebody who comes from the Smash community. There's so many more opportunities to host a really strong event, prosperous financially event to some degree, without having the company's seal of approval on it. Sure, it might not be on the Pro Tour, but look at events like Let's Make Big Moves. Great event for the people, by the people, ran by an absolute goon of a guy, Max Ketchum. He's like, this tournament is probably never going to be on any circuit because of just its ingredients. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It's still the best tournament that the community has ever been to. And in a lot of ways it is.
So yeah, like he gets to do that, but he doesn't have Nintendo's lawyers chasing after him, telling him to, sending him C&Ds. Yeah, I think that the only C&Ds that we've really seen spawn out of Slippy, right? Like when there's emulation going on at
or
an event.
Project M, if they're gonna have
Project M, like stuff like that.
Anything with
Nintendo,
modified code, basically.
Yeah, when Nintendo sees that and they see their name, they're like, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. But so far, this is, and I agree with Pyro, this is a whole new chapter. That this is really next level stuff, but it is limited to Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
So does this mean they're trying to push their community to 6?
Maybe. I honestly don't know. It could be their way of pushing people to 6. It could just be, I mean, the way that they like this message from them today, I mean, the way they word it does make it seem like they like it basically, it feels like they're saying, like, we really are trying to foster a tighter relationship with TOs and, encourage safe spaces and yada yada. Yet our hands are tied on the money stuff, right? Like, we can't do anything about that money stuff. Mm-hmm. But we do, it does feel like that they do want to make the approval process a little more streamlined. They are trying to do something better for the TOs.
Yeah, but they're making the approval process more streamlined with these rules.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a nothing statement. This is just saying, yeah, we'll work with you only on these terms. We're listening to your complaints, but we're not changing shit. That's what I read.
Yeah, I don't like that either. And I think they're doing it on purpose because they're like, hey, there's a lot of people who want to work with us. We've always been really picky on who partners and who doesn't partner and who can run what and when and why. I get that. But they're like, damn, the amount of TOs and organizers in this current day and age of information that can acquire large amounts of money and host something that rivals what we're probably doing or what we could possibly do creatively. Yes, you can join us, but you ain't bringing all that money. You ain't bringing all them sponsors we don't know about. You ain't bringing none of that, but you will get that fucking Boy Scout stamp, that Capcom Pro Tour stamp right on your jacket. So what's it going to be? And in a lot of people's cases, when Nintendo first started partnering with tournaments, everybody's like, I gotta get the Nintendo Versus account. I gotta get it, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, when you think about it, it's like, dude, what are they really giving you? Now, of course, speaking from the perspective of somebody who's not hosting tournaments, but from what I've been told, Nintendo's giving a lot of these tournaments just monitors. You get a couple guys from Nintendo, depending on how big your event is, they come around, they walk around, and they point and look at stuff, and they hang out, but like, they don't call any of the shots. They don't get in the trenches with you and TO. They just are kind of there. So like, TOs out there, really ask yourself, what is really to gain from getting on the Capcom Pro Tour with this?
Because if you don't, they're going to C&D your ass, Rod.
Well, true.
I guess you don't get to run that game.
Like, you don't get to have an event at all. And then again, this is just Street Fighter 5, so maybe this is something where the community's going to like, screw it, we're going to go back to 4. Or screw it, we're going to 6. Like, I think this is designed to push people away from 5, which is weird. But because you don't have 6 out yet, the timing of this is really weird. Oh yeah, Rodfest has underground Street Fighter 5 tournament.
We're also running Marvel too.
When is Marvel?
I don't know. We're running Marvel, and me and Brian are commentating top 8. Let's get it, Brian.
Let's do it. Let's go. All right, let's move on from this one.
We're also playing Kirby Fighters 2.
There we go.
We can do that. We can do it.
Gotta have Kirby Fighters.
No one. No one wants to do that.
If you want more information about Rodfest and everything that's going to be going down, of course, you got to make sure you're followed here on Shacknews Twitch. Hit that follow button, hit the notification bell. Make sure you're notified whenever we go live so you don't miss any of the Rodfest 2K
Hey, no, we didn't say that.
news.
Yeah, no Rod Fist. No one said
no
Rod
Rod
Fist.
I'm sorry.
That's only for the VIP room.
I talk too much. I talk too much. I get tripped up. Yes. So if you want that Rodfest news, not the other one, make sure you're followed here. Make sure you're notified, and make sure you're subbed to the channel. Kick us a subscription. That way, you'll get the complete Rodfest package. I don't know. I need to stop talking.
Wait a damn minute.
We hope you have space to hold it all.
Oh man.
This is our best commercial break yet. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can link that to your Twitch account. Get a free Prime Gaming sub every single month. Kick that our way. We'll take those Bezos bucks. We absolutely love them. If you can't watch us live, though, you can always head over to YouTube. Watch us on 2 channels over there, Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub videos, where you can find the best, the latest, the greatest in developer interviews, reviews, previews, unboxings, Twitch VODs that we're exporting over there. I mean, it's all over there. We have it all. You got to check it out. I'm talking thousands of hours of exclusive content that you cannot find anywhere else, all waiting for you at Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub videos. So subscribe to both of those channels. That would make Greg Burkleton-Burke very, very happy. He works very hard on all of those videos, and he does a great job too. And if you like what you're seeing, maybe talk about it on your social media platforms like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, where you can find us at Shack News on Twitter and Facebook, Shack News Media on Instagram. We have Denny Von Doom keeping it down over there. Go over there and give him a shout out. He's not feeling too well. He's under the weather right now as well, so he would love to hear from you. Give us a follow, give us a quote, tweet, a retweet, all that good stuff. Give him your love. All of our energy is going out to Denny Von Doom. And of course, you can always check out our social media platform, our own, very own Shacknews hosted platform called Shack Pets, where you can check out the cutest pictures of community pets. You can swipe left or right. You can decide who's the cuter pet. You can even upload pictures of your pets and challenge everyone else for the ultimate battle in cuteness. It's absolutely free on the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store. It's right there. It costs you nothing, and it brightens up your day. There's big changes to it too coming. Isn't that right, Asif? Big things coming.
Yeah, but if you're not someone who has pets, sign up for the app and the Shacknews account, and you can just go look at the latest pets feed. So it's literally just a feed that you can scroll with just a bunch of pet pictures. You don't have to worry about liking them or retweeting them or sharing them or commenting on them. There's none of that. It's just a feed of pet pictures. But yeah,
we sideload this app to Amazon Fire devices. I've seen it happen on our real ass tablet. The man's not going to hold you guys down. If you want to love pets, this is the software. It is available everywhere, even if they're trying to hold you back.
This is the first I've heard of anyone on Amazon Fire tablet using it. I'm happy to hear it works.
The
awesome.
APK loads right in.
Nice. I mean, we worked really hard to make this work on as many platforms as possible on mobile. Obviously, we're still looking at other solutions for people who may visit our website. But yeah, we're working on an update. It's probably going to ship sometime around Lola's birthday, which is later this month. And yeah, it's the biggest update since the last biggest update, so it's gonna be pretty big.
That's really nice to hear. Make sure you get it. Stay up to date on that Shack Pets. And like Asif was saying, even if you don't have pets of your own, you can just scroll through the pets feed, which is way better than doom scrolling on whatever other platform you're on. You know, I mean, there's so much going on, so much doom and gloom in your scrolling day. Why not make it a bit brighter and a bit more happier with Shack Pets? That's what I say.
Yeah, I tweeted this out this weekend, but it's like, we don't want you to not pay attention to the
absolutely
news.
not.
It's important, but it's just nice to have one app on my phone where I can load it and know that I'm not going to see anything about the war.
You're going to get a smile out of it.
I'm not going to see any gamer discourse shit takes or, just I'm not going to see anyone complaining about Elden Ring's UI on Shack Pets. So like it's just nice to have one little place on the where I can go and not have to. That's why I built it, and that's why our users are using it. And it's exciting. We saw a bunch of people upload images over the weekend, so people are definitely coming back to the app over and over. So that's exciting.
It's just a little digital oasis right there with the cutest pets you could imagine. Let's move on, though. We got a lot more news. Well, not a lot more, but a little bit more news to talk about. A couple more stories to go over. The first one is just our run-of-the-mill LCS coverage. We talk about LCS every now and then. I've just like to include it in the show. If I'm not going to talk Overwatch, I might as well talk League, the other big esport in the world.
Wait, is Overwatch happening right now?
No, I don't think there's really like Overwatch happening right now. People are still waiting for Overwatch 2, and that's not happening. But we're not talking about Overwatch.
But no. What about the Shanghai Dragons?
But what about the Shanghai Dragons?
What about?
There's no Shanghai Dragons in the LCS, but there is a Cloud9, and they are crushing it right now with their 6th win in a row, just recently beating the Golden Guardians and EG. Spoiler alert for the B-roll we have in the background there. That's Cloud9's and EG's latest match, where Cloud9 beat them, won their pretty much their weekend, got their 6th win in a row. They're on a really good stretch going into the I believe the spring what is it called? The split, rather. Yes, going into the spring split. It looks like they're doing really well on that. But TSM is on a bit of an upswing. They got off to a really rough start we were talking about before with their 0-4 start, the worst, I believe, that they'd ever had. But they had another win just recently, beating Golden Guardians along with Cloud9. So both of those teams looking a little bit better headed into the spring split. Golden Guardians not looking so hot.
Kind of looking bronze or something.
Yeah, exactly. Bronze Guardians right now, moving down to silver.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Cloud9 was clicking vigorously this weekend.
Oh yeah, they must have been clicking so fast on so many different things.
That's what this esport is about, right? Vigorous clicking.
Very vigorous.
Indeed.
Yeah,
well, that's exciting.
I'm glad TSM's doing better now too. I understand the I could understand, again, we talked about it before, but like the stress and like having younger players, maybe players are slightly less inexperienced than, some of our heavier hitters, and trying to rebuild from the ground up. But I think that if nothing else, and again, I'm sure TSM is probably looking at this, if I'm looking at it like this, but they're like, hey, we've already been whooping ass for so long. It's time to, get some new players in here. And we might have a colder start, but sooner or later, we're going to pick things up. And these people aren't sponsored for no reason. We put them in a jersey to get out here and destroy people. And they might be a little slow to the draw on it, but they will get their feet up underneath them. And we're just starting to see that. I know, not to talk too much about TSM, but Cloud9 is doing very well right now. I mean, I don't know if we've ever really talked about them, did we? I think EE has a couple times. I think he likes Cloud9, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm a 100 Thieves guy, but your team's doing all right, Phil. I don't know where you're at. They're doing okay.
Can we talk about the Ace being sponsored by Bud Light in the LCS? Like, that's how you know you've made it as an esport, when you got Bud Light sponsoring the Aces in your game. You like that, Chris?
Hell yeah, man.
That's right. Give me a dang old Bud Light.
You know what?
Dang old legends and
I know a C9 player from the Smash scene who's been playing a lot of League lately and complaining about it on Twitter. The GOAT.
What's his name? What is isn't it like banana or apple or
it's Mango?
Pineapple. Oh, Mango.
The GOAT. Not of League. I will say this: League of Legends did something right this last week. It made Mango miss Melee, which I don't know. I could see that happening. But,
yeah,
that'll be something. But yeah, I don't know. MOBAs, what are you doing to me?
You know, that's always been my take on MOBAs as well. It wasn't until I started working dude, it wasn't really until I started working DreamHack that I was like, okay, I get it, sort of. Like I even had, the opinion I have on MOBAs was the same opinion I had on Rocket League. And it wasn't until I seen Rocket League at DreamHack and then the few times that we did it at the stimulus games, which we won't talk about. Please nobody dig up that footage. That I was like, damn, you know what?
Don't say that. Chris will pull it up.
I
He'll
know,
find
but
it.
Chris,
Mhm.
I've been a good boy this year. I need you to not pull that up.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think MOBAs in my world, I'm starting to come around to them a little bit more, especially the storylines that they have attached to them. And I think that's a big thing in esports, especially coming from fighting games. But I was like, damn, TSM, how
Look,
are they not doing great? And once I heard that, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to start watching more because TSM is like my second favorite team after 100 Thieves.
look, I can appreciate any video game and competitions in them. Doesn't mean I have to enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
I I think the production on League streams is actually excellent. And I think the casters do a great job too. It's just I don't really enjoy watching the game.
Yeah.
It's just something I personally don't really get into. The MOBAs in general, I don't really like. I do watch a little Dota 2 from time to time if I am going to watch a MOBA and sit down because they that company has done an amazing job of multiple stream options
Yeah.
where there's like the stream for the hardcore pros and the stream for the casuals. Like I think other companies might benefit from doing that a little bit, but yeah, good for Cloud9 on getting the W. Too bad for the Golden Guardians, but really we could have just spent time talking about Overwatch League and we didn't, and that makes me sad.
I'm sure it does. Well, let's talk about something that will make everybody happy.
Don't
Our,
speak for me.
I do speak for you. You better be happy about this
All right.
news. So our last story of the day is something we usually like to leave for happier news, and this is great news. This is the happiest news I've heard all day in esports. Snoop Dogg is getting into a bit of esports. He's been part of gaming. I mean, Snoop has been all over the place, right? Def Jam, Fight for New York, his cameo in Tekken Tag 2, Call of Duty Ghosts, True Crime Streets of LA. But now he's joining FaZe. FaZe Clan is bringing Snoop Dogg in as I believe, as like a board member. Like he's going to be,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's bringing something to the table. Rod asked if he was bringing entertainment, commentary, content. No, Rod, he's bringing money. Snoop Dogg is
Well,
bringing money to the
he
table.
is. And you know what's funny about Snoop Dogg was actually not funny, but he's a really multifaceted person. And I've been watching a lot of Marvel shit lately about the whole buzz before it was Infinity Stones. Now it's multiverse jumping and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, dude, the closest thing we have to a multiversal figure is probably Snoop Dogg. This motherfuckers, and he did a Star Wars thing. Martha Stewart. He's in like all these weird ass commercials now. And now he's in, he's always in video games, but now he's in it on the back end of things too. And that's one thing that I want people to probably understand too, more than anything, is that this is not Snoop Dogg's first rodeo with video gaming. This is just his first real rodeo with financially being on the front end of it. But he was in Def Jam Vendetta, Fight for New York as the main antagonist, Crow. He wrote a song for Tekken Tag 2. He's in the game, True Crime Streets of LA, and so many others. And I just think that this works for somebody like Snoop Dogg at his age. I think when we first started doing this, I talked about the importance of making sure your legacy is intact properly. Like the Rolling Stones, like, dude, I love Mick Jagger in the game. Stop doing music. Go do something else.
Damn.
Leave your music alone. And I think Snoop Dogg is getting that. He's like, yo, I need to just do other things and see if people will accept it.
What are you
And
talking about?
we are. Wait, which
Hold
part?
on a second. Hold on, Rod.
Oh, I'm listening.
Did you see the Super Bowl halftime show?
I did.
Did you think that Snoop Dogg was like someone
we were
that
one
should hang it up?
sneeze away from losing 50 Cent to a neck break.
Well,
What?
he should stop doing new music. Okay, if he's doing anything, do
Wow.
features. I'm okay. I'm okay with Snoop Dogg not doing an album for a very long time and focusing on like some of these other endeavors that put him in a new light. Like something like this, I think is big, especially with FaZe Clan's. I guess their number one competitor creatively would be 100 Thieves and just everybody that they've picked up. And same with the guy. What's the other team? Is it God, wait, what team is not Alinity but Valkyrie? Which one is she with? That's
These
not
are the
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves.
Okay, so yeah, so 100 Thieves and Valkyrie and Drake and everybody. I think FaZe Clan, this is a really good pickup for them. Snoop Dogg can commentate. We heard him commentate the Mike Tyson and who did he fight? Evander Holyfield a couple months ago. And he he's been doing just a lot of things lately. Long story short.
Do you see Snoop Dogg commentating a Counter-Strike Global Offensive match?
Yes, and I'm only going to say yes because listen, people aren't going to tune in to hear anything analytical. Okay, they're going to
think Snoop Dogg knows what Counter-Strike Global Offensive is.
Did we think Snoop Dogg knew what most of the moves that some of these guys in the fighting the octagon knew, or any of that? I mean, yeah, it might be a little easier to commentate two dudes beating the living shit out of each other, but dude, his commentary was just pure entertainment, pure Snoop Dogg isms, pure one-liners. Like, people would tune in to hear him commentate. I got money on that.
But that
I just want to
people picking up these games and becoming regular customers of the esports community. I'm assuming that's the reason they pay this money.
No, because FaZe doesn't own any video game, Crabs. This is about.
I'm not 100% sure what's happening.
I agree.
I'm old.
I'm with you, man. I'm older than you are, and if FaZe is what's really going on here. The news is that Snoop Dogg is going to join the board of directors of FaZe. Why does FaZe have a board of directors, you may ask? Because they're not doing an IPO. They're doing a special purpose acquisition corporation, which is on public. They're buying a company that's already public and relisting that as FaZe. Because usually you do this because there aren't investors who are willing to buy your IPO. So that right there tells you why they're doing this. This is ahead of an announcement of the IPO later, or not the IPO, the listing of their new stock later this spring. They needed some attention, and they got Snoop Dogg for it. This is not unlike Shaq being on the board of directors at Papa John's, or, I don't know what else there's a comparable. You remember when Reggie was on the board of directors at GameStop a few years ago?
Yeah,
it's not unlike that. This is more to make news today. But yeah, to your point, Chris, I don't know how FaZe makes money, but we will find out soon when they become a publicly traded company.
Well, they are a brand. I mean, they sell apparel, they sell merch. Their Counter-Strike Go team has had success.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I mean. Like,
there's a difference between unloading a few thousand T-shirts and taking your company onto the stock market. Like, I don't understand what's in the middle of the divide there.
Well, I think Snoop Dogg exudes just a level of coolness with his old man badassery and smoking weed that I think, people of all ages just kind of, kind of
FaZe
resonate
teams
with.
allowed to openly smoke weed?
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Are they? I don't think they are.
This is BS. Hopefully Snoop Dogg shows up and just wrecks the board of directors.
Yeah, I hope so.
He's going to be like, oh, hell no, cuz we lighting up. That's what he's going to say. Day one, he's going to have his chucks up on the desk.
With him.
I'm sure there was some money given to him to this deal. Snoop's not just going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure he has shares in the future company or something coming his way. But yeah, this was a financially motivated announcement. It was more marketing than anything. I'm going to do some homework on the FaZe stock when it does hit the markets, but I tend to agree with Chris. I don't understand the business model of a lot of esports orgs, especially with most of them pivoting to being lifestyle brands now. Apparel companies don't last that long, Rod.
No,
they don't.
Especially not if it's based on a current trend or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not like, people are going to be 10 years from now, still wearing 100 Thieves stuff. I just don't see it.
And I don't mean that they're like these companies won't exist, but I'm just saying, like, fashion, you know how it is, right? Like, shit's hot until it's not.
Exactly.
And I just think that these companies are trying to capitalize on the moments where they're hot, which makes a lot of sense. But as an investor, I'm looking at this and my eyebrows are just like, okay, yeah, Snoop Dogg on your board. Is that really a reason to invest in something? No. But when you think about
smart enough to know that,
when you think about the jaboofers who are going to be buying FaZe stock in a few months, they're going to buy it because of now.
The same jaboofers that are AMC longs, right? Asif?
Same Jaboofers that are out there buying AMC. Yeah. Same
You
Yeah.
guys promised me that Rick Fox was getting into esports, and I've been waiting for years, and I've yet to see Rick Fox in Rocket League or anywhere. Why am I
Well, he
being
came to
lied to?
Evo. He came to Evo once or twice.
He was in esports, and then he had a falling out with the org that he was
Oh,
involved
no.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a whole.
Well, I was overpromised Rick Fox, and I was underdelivered, so I'm still
Okay,
mad about it.
here's the deal. I'll try to get Rick Fox to come on this show.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Only if I'm allowed to
There we
ask
go.
him about Vanessa.
Yeah, I mean, how are we going to have a conversation with him not about
Well, I don't want to like insult him or disrespect him because I also think he's a wonderful basketball player, but I kind of want to know about Vanessa, for reasons.
that?
If you get Rick Fox on this show, holy shit.
I'm going to do it.
I mean, we got you. Like this
Yeah,
guy's
don't
on it,
tempt
man.
him. He's talked to Mike. He's talked to Mike Tyson, Ice
You're
T.
the face
I
of
mean,
Rodfest.
I
You
don't
already got
doubt he could
Rodfest.
get-
I'm just,
yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't say we were getting Rick Fox for Rodfest.
I'm just saying, you already
Am I-
got
wait,
Rod.
wait.
If we've
Rod,
already got Rod
am I
in
on the
house,
board
Rick
of
Fox is.
directors of Rodfest?
You are. Welcome on board. I'm so
Holy
glad to
shit.
have you.
Breaking news for the chat. I'm
Rodfest
now on the board of
CFO.
directors of Rodfest.
You all are. It's
Briefcase.
your guys' work speaks for itself, and I'd be so glad to have you.
So
I
is
can't pay you.
Rodfest now a lifestyle brand? And if
Uh,
so, how much are your hooded sweatshirts?
It is a lifestyle brand, and unlike EE, when you sign up for my team, I'll actually get you the merch you asked for. Crazily enough, yeah.
It already has a logo. Rodfest has
You
a
can't throw
an
EE
amazing
under the
logo.
bus. He can't even come on Twitch to defend himself.
I
Can
know you
get
got to
me
kick a man when
full
he's down.
size, like
Why you gotta
60-gallon
be like
cowboy
that?
hat, but with like the fuzzy stuff on it off of one of them Kangol
We
visors.
miss you, Phil.
Man, we do miss Phil. God, what's not to change the subject? What is he doing now? Is there's another invitational? Is that what's happening?
For what?
Is that why Phil's not here? He's doing another invitational.
Apparently, I'm not going to give any shine to fucking communist cast.
Oh,
Damn.
never mind. Didn't know what he was doing, but okay.
But yeah, I'm on the Rodfest board of directors, baby.
That's the news. All right, that's actually your feel-good news of the day right there. That's your uplifting, heartwarming
Look,
news
just to
for
wrap up
the end of
Dogg
Wide
real
World
quick.
Esports.
Snoop Dogg is this generation's Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I damn.
Damn. Holy shit. I didn't think of it that way. He is.
Yeah.
Like, he is the stoner, the old guy stoner for all of us. He's older than all of us, and he's more stoned than all of us.
Is Wiz Khalifa going to be the next Snoop Dogg?
I hope so. God, that guy's an entrepreneur right there.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for our episode of Wide World of Esports. That is our esports news of the 122nd episode finished, which means we got to get in to the sauce talk. And there's a lot of sauce to talk today, and we got to get into it and hit it hard and fast because Steve Tendo's coming up. It's sneaking up. So let's first talk a little bit about, let's bring gaming, esports, and sauce talk all together in one topic
In a big,
with
nasty
Tim's
pile.
yeah, with founder of in a bowl, in a KFC bowl, if you will. Founder of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, was given some hot food takes the other night, talking about everything from Chick-fil-A to cookies and candy and McDonald's and even Hooters and their not so fine cuisine. So first off, yeah, he's talking about how alcohol is just the adult version of candy.
So, Tim,
yeah,
I have a problem
I agree with that.
this. I never ate too many sugar babies and then went in through my spouse through a drywall.
Oh, no.
He's
We got a folding
here.
chair.
Wait, did someone say sauce talk?
I think we did.
Oh my goodness.
He is risen.
I mean, if Asif gets to come sauce talk, I want a sauce talk.
Oh, you can talk that sauce.
I'm sauce your talk, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but I was off adulting.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
You know.
let's get into this. Tim was clearly drunk on a Friday night,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
and we learned a
Covfefe.
lot. Like, mind you, this guy's a billionaire.
Billion with a B.
He's out here replying to anime avatars and stuff. You know, like,
Mhm.
so here's just a slew of fast food takes, and I'm just gonna kind of go through. Someone asked him what he thinks of Chick-fil-A. He said, "It's tasty and all real chicken, unlike the industrial manufactured chicken nuggets at other establishments."
This guy's just opened up my
wow.
third eye.
And then he goes, someone asked him about Popeye's chicken sandwich. He said, "I'm more of a straight up fried chicken, popcorn, shrimp kind of. However, I do appreciate the value of chicken sandwiches bringing a new generation of soccer moms to Popeyes."
Wow.
Jesus, Tim.
Damn. Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, that was loaded.
I gotta get it off my chest.
And then on the question of how much candy is too much candy, I don't know how much candy is too much. In the case of Oreos, I know the answer. A 13-pound package of Oreo cookies only, no cream, from Amazon is too much.
I think one Oreo is too much.
Before we go
Tim
another
Sweeney-
step further, like, Tim, do you need a hug, dude? Like, I know that COVID's been tough on all of us and everything,
Wow.
but like, it's okay,
Yes.
bro.
Yeah.
I think he was having a rough day. For other reasons that maybe we'll talk about in future episodes.
Man, but the
He
way you
ordered
eat Oreos, though,
without the cream, like clearly
Yeah.
there's something going on in his life.
First of all, the way you eat Oreos is you eat like 2 sleeves in the package, and then you
wolf
try
him
to
down
eat
like
the
a
third
python
one.
after you unhinge your jaw.
Yeah, and then you try to eat the third one, but you start feeling sick, and then you leave them in your cupboard for another year until you finally throw them out. That's how the proper way to eat an Oreo, in my mind.
I thought eating Oreos was just I buy as many until I get the Pokemon ones I want, and then I just get rid of the other ones.
Here's another take though. Tim, do you like Taco Bell? Yes. Crunchy tacos with fire sauce, no fancy stuff add.
You can't go wrong.
For the Shack Pets fans out there, Tim had a cat once. For Epic's first year of business, when we were headquartered in my parents' basement, it stalked and attacked. Its name was Riggin. This is Tim saying, after the Super Bowl winning quarterback. Now,
Tim.
John Riggins was not a quarterback.
He was a fullback.
I know.
Tim.
Tim does not know much about football. What's your opinion on Dr. Pepper? Diet Dr. Pepper is good when taking a break from Diet Coke. Wouldn't main it, though.
It's not entirely unreasonable.
I don't feel like you should have main diet sodas.
Another fire take for Tim.
I have main diet sodas.
Someone replied, and Hooters is the adult version of KFC. And Tim goes, for 2 decades, I assumed Hooters food wasn't very good. Then I felt bad that I was making superficial assumptions, so I finally ate there. The food wasn't very good.
All right, now just wait a goddamn minute, Mr. Billionaire, sir. Hooters food is just pretty good. All right, I've had it a few times. It's not Burger King. It's not Burger King, all right? All right, I'm not having it my way, but it's pretty good. And the scenery there isn't terrible, fellas. Can we all agree with that?
Tell him, Rod.
I'm not going to disagree. Look, there's a Hooters across from the convention center in LA, and it was open late. I've definitely eaten there. It's serviceable.
Yeah, I don't know how much I care about like the outfits of people serving me food when I'm going out to dinner personally. But I don't know, like the actual food there tastes like they just bought like a bunch of like frozen like shit in bulk at Costco and cooked it up. It's nothing horrible.
That's exactly what it is.
I will say this, Ross. I like their curly fries.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The thing
Their
about
curly
Hooters
fries
is I go in there and they've got all these girls dressed up real skimpy, but then you look behind the counter and everybody cooking looks just like me. The people touching the food.
Yep. So here's another one. Maybe the most damning answer of all of them. Hey, Tim, do you like the Euros from Arby's? Tim goes, I've eaten at Arby's, but I've never been able to figure out the relationship between their roast beef sandwiches and actual cows. Metaphorical, perhaps?
Tim, you
that's a solid Arby's burn though, right there.
Yeah.
Like
you like some ice for that burn.
Arby's deserves all the shit it gets for all the shit it gives other people.
And then
his favorite fruit is the low-hanging fruit.
And then he goes, someone asked, hey, Tim, how about the Oreo extra chocolate McFlurry at McDonald's? And Tim goes, Fish sandwich plus Oreo flurry is
Ugh.
the only thing I go to McDonald's.
Man,
Yeah,
he
so
must be
he
disappointed a lot.
really,
Like,
really,
how?
really needs a hug.
Yeah.
Because the McFlurry
Now-
machine's always
now-
out of order.
Now, Rod, this is gonna warm your heart. They said someone asked, "Hey, Tim, what's your favorite soda?" He goes, "They took my tab away, so now Diet Coke. The Burger King vintage is the best."
Vintage.
Just
he
saying.
calls Burger King Diet Coke by its vintage.
I'm now pretty sure that Tim Sweeney is the guy at the front of the Snowpiercer train. He's lost all touch with reality and is starting to fade away from him.
But yeah, I just wanted to go through those takes real quick because I saw this happening in real time while I was playing Halo or Rocket League with my friends on Friday night. I just started reading them out. We were cracking up.
Yeah, I seen he was drunk. He wasn't like Caveffe drunk, but he was like pretty far gone though.
He seemed like
A little
he had
bit.
like
He
this
was ready
seems
to
like
share.
sauce talk, like SAUCED talk. But it's just weird. This guy's worth billions of dollars. He's still eating Taco Bell.
I mean, that's how. Is that how you stay rich? I've never been rich before. Do you just
You
keep
can't
eating
take-
Taco
I don't
Bell?
know.
You can take a boy out of Carolina, but you can't take the Carolina out of the boy.
Well,
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think fast food is like comfort food for a lot of people. I can't imagine. I don't know. Obviously, if you can afford to eat better, go for it. But every once in a while, everyone's gonna want something just down and dirty.
This doesn't
And
seem like
nasty,
every
right?
once in a while with him. This is a guy who seems to almost habitually eat fast food. He's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
he's been on live streams with giant big gulps from Popeyes and stuff. Like
He definitely drinks a lot of soda.
he drinks a lot of soda. I've seen him at conventions eating fast food. There's an image of I took a photo with SES dev Adam Brummel, over at GDC one year.
What a
And
big
we were
manly-
at the Epic
ugh.
We were
Sorry,
at the
Adam.
Epic Games, and there's this picture, and people zoomed in on it, and they're like, Tim Sweeney's in the background eating nachos, staring at. So he's just like, I don't know. He seems like a unique person in this. Like it doesn't seem like it's not just like an every once in a while thing. I think Tim probably eats fast food more than once a week.
I
Yeah, these
mean,
are some
we
pretty-
all eat bad at conventions, though. Like we've all eaten
For
like
sure.
a convention
For sure.
nachos or a burger or something. So I'm not sure if that's really
No,
like
that's
evidence.
just pure anecdotal evidence of his love of nachos.
I mean, we all love nachos too. Let's be real. I mean, if we can eat them, some people don't tolerate lactose, but
We can all agree he's objectively wrong about his chicken wing take here on the screen, though, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Does Tim have anything to say about the Outback Steakhouse? I'm curious now.
No, but you should just tweet at him. He'll probably reply.
I'm concerned
Yeah.
that Tim doesn't value flavor. Like, he already orders his Oreos without the cream. He doesn't understand the purpose of eating a chicken wing. Like, there's something here. I just hope that nobody heard him when
you're
he was
right.
younger.
You have to. I think you reach Tim's level. You have to just have some oddly eccentric stuff about you.
But
like
I agree
eating
that
Oreos without the cream.
I agree that his Hooters take seems unusually mean. Like, I don't think Hooters food is really that bad. It's just not great.
It's the same as every other fast casual joint. Applebee's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Ruby
like
Tuesdays,
Applebee's
all
or
of them.
Chili's or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like
Yeah.
Fridays or Applebee's or any of those places. If maybe with a less expansive menu.
I can't.
But yeah, I agree. That's a terrible take on chicken.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
We got
it
some,
seems.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead, viewers.
I don't know. It seems Tim definitely leans towards the chicken, though. In general, like more so than anything else.
I mean,
We
he's a
should
man of
tweet
him.
good taste.
And ask him if he knows about any low-key barbecue places. He's in the zone for some good vinegar-based barbecue. He might know. We just need to ask
Yeah.
him.
Weird.
I like Davis's take, more like Jim Sweeney.
Yeah.
Well,
All right,
heard
let's
some,
move on.
Some shit was going on with Shake Shack. What's the story?
Yeah, we got Shake Shack doing a trial for Bitcoin rewards on customers
What?
using Cash App.
What?
Go get yourself some Bitcoin at Shake Shack.
Why?
I don't know.
Because like, why not? The world is changing into a direction that I don't even know if most people approve of, man.
Like,
Looks
what's
like
the point of this?
Well, it looks like they're going to give you 15% of your purchases back in the form of Bitcoin.
Why?
What? How?
Yeah.
I bet you just charge us 15% less for the hamburger. And
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, why? Why even act like this is a good thing? This is a burden.
Oh, this is not a great thing.
This is
Yeah.
a burden. It's like, here's a burden. Thanks for coming to our restaurant. Have this burden now. Like, I don't want this.
They said apparently it's a way to lure millennial and Gen Z customers, as if we weren't the only generation of
A
people
good
eating here
way
in
to
the first
lure
place.
millennials to your restaurant is cutting your prices by 15%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you bring Gen Z in by just burning it down to the ground and building something new.
I like that these eateries have decided the best way to get customers is the same way that Wile E. Cody tries to get Roadrunner. Like, what?
Yeah.
Shouldn't the people just want to eat your food on, the merit of the hamburger? Like, why are we trying to trick people?
A Shake Shack just opened up down the street here, where our old Sears building was, and where Uber was supposed to be putting their offices. But I've been there a couple times. But honestly, out of all the burger options I got around here, they're low tier. Like, they're below Burger King, frankly. Their burgers.
No.
Shake Shack is not below Burger King.
No,
They're
they're
on my
not.
personal list. On my personal
Your
list.
personal list is bullshit, man. I'm
Wow.
the fucking
Have you
cows
been to
that
Shake
are
Shack?
going into the hamburgers. The cows that are going into the hamburgers at Burger King are freaking diabetic and like
Hey, whoa,
on their
whoa,
deathbed.
whoa.
And then
Wait,
like the cows that Shake Shack buys are of a higher tier. You can go to any livestock auction in the fucking world.
Are
McDonald's
diabetic
and
cows
Burger
cheaper
King.
than other cows? When you're
Then
the
how?
I'm telling you, man, the
How do they
diseased cows
make them
that are about
taste
to
worse
die
than
are
BK?
cheaper. Burger King and McDonald's buy the worst livestock out of anyone.
Then how does Burger King end up tasting better than Shake Shack? Then that sounds like something Shake Shack's blowing.
I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to be mean. I'm not gonna say it.
Well, they're Orida, and they like straight up serve you like the Orida like crinkle cut fries, man. Like straight out of the fucking plastic
I'm not
bag.
talking about their fries. I'm literally talking about the quality of the meat.
I'm talking about Shake Shack in general. I'm talking about overall.
No, you said the burger. You said the burger.
All right,
and you
I'll stand by that
Burger
too.
King. Of all the burgers to invoke, you invoked Burger King. It's like the worst one.
Blake knows what he's talking about.
Come on.
Burger
King,
King
guys,
place that
talking
puts
about-
17 pounds of condiments in the Whopper so you can't taste the meat on purpose.
If you're talking about
what is going on here?
If you're talking about affordability, sure.
Rodney, I'll
Burger
sock
King is
you
a
in the
much
mouth.
more Burger King's a much more affordable burger. Come the fuck. Shake Shack's a much better burger. That being said, this Bitcoin thing is stupid as fuck. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was kind of strange because I had never heard of a company giving you back Bitcoin as a reward system, and then the tagline to have it as a means to lure millennials and Gen Z. And I'm like, dude, the majority of us don't really even know what the fuck is going on, and the ones that do aren't so hip to the whole like cryptocurrency, all that type of stuff. Like, me personally, I'm learning more about it. The ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, pros and cons. But like the average consumer, they're not probably going to look at this as like a means to buy more.
How does it even work? Do they give you a crypto wallet? Like, where do you put the Bitcoin once they've given it?
It's tied to your Cash App. It's tied to your
They inject
Cash
it
App.
into your arm with a needle, just like
you have to already have a Cash App with
the debit card, the Cash App or the Cash Card that comes with it as well.
We're never gonna settle this. Why don't we all just go to McDonald's and get an ice cream from the drive-thru?
Yeah.
You can't do that though.
What? Why not?
Because the damn
machine's
always
broken.
Yeah.
Great segue, Chris. Chris has just got the greatest segues for Sauce Talk. Yes, the company behind the official ice cream machines at McDonald's is bringing litigation against the company, claiming that McDonald's reverse engineered the machines, created false advertisement to defame them by claiming that the company's technology was faulty, hazardous, and just not up to snuff. I mean,
I've heard
yeah,
that it's not actually the machines, it's just the poor track record of McDonald's actually cleaning them.
it is absolutely the poor track record of franchises not cleaning their machine or just being too lazy to clean it and then telling customers that it's out of order. I can personally tell you, I have worked for McDonald's at multiple stores, and we've never had downtime for our ice cream machine ever, never.
And it's like any, with McDonald's, there's so many locations. There's like a good one and a bad one in every town. Usually, the bad one might not have the ice cream working, or maybe it stops working at the same time every day or something.
Do you think they got a case though? Do you think this Kitsch's technology has a case?
Yes, I do.
I can see it happening. I mean,
you don't throw 900 million around, like you don't come up with that number by accident.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
That's all. Yeah. I mean, let's just round it up. That's $1 billion.
Yeah.
If you're taking the lawyers 10% or whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's just a crazy amount of money for ice cream machines. But I mean, if you think about all the McDonald's in the country, the sheer amount of them, how many ice cream machines that is, that's a lot of manufacturing. I mean, it's not like this. Yeah, it's not like this company, just spun up their, this machine out of nowhere and decided to sell it to McDonald's. I mean, yeah, these are researched and designed industrial machines.
There are almost 40,000 locations.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And each of them has an ice cream machine, if not more than one.
Yeah.
Anything about the sales done with their ice cream machines, it's a lot. And then if a company, like let's say I don't know, Burger King sell ice cream? No.
I mean, not
they
really.
do.
Yeah, it's like
Burger King has soft serve.
Yeah.
Well, let's say you're this Taylor company. You're trying to get the Burger King account, and they're like, "Well, look at the track record of McDonald's." Like, you can argue that you're losing business because of McDonald's bullshit. So I think they have a case.
Yeah.
And hopefully this leads to better ice cream service across the board for McDonald's customers.
It should. I mean, it's just really dumb to me that McDonald's, as a company with the resources and money they have, would go as far as to blame the manufacturer of the equipment rather than trying to focus that into educating the franchises and the employees on how to maintain the equipment.
Especially for something where the margin is so astronomical, because like a McFlurry is 85% air.
Oh, I could tell you all about margins. You guys want to know how much a chicken nugget costs?
How much?
Just one chicken nugget, 8.1 cents. A 10-piece nugget is 81 cents.
And they sell it for what? $5?
$5.
Is that
so they have about
75% margin, or is that after the cooking and the overhead is in?
That's just the cost of the material.
Just buying the frozen bag of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a crazy markup.
And they make a ton of money on beverages and ice cream.
Oh yeah, and the ice cream. I mean, the ice cream is probably
closer to 90% margin.
Yeah, cents for that, for the cone and the ice cream itself.
They lose triple the money when they put a second scoop of M&Ms in there versus giving you 3 full cups of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought this story was kind of interesting because, there's always a narrative of the ice cream machine, this ice cream machine, that. And I'm like, do we just not want to use ice cream machine? Or are a lot of them broken? What's the story behind why some of them will be broken?
It's got to be a thing, because whenever McDonald's is brought up in popular culture, the fact that the ice cream machine is always down is always brought up. It's like the one thing people know and talk about when it comes to McDonald's.
Well, it's like, I mean, the process for cleaning it is like intricate, right?
You empty it out. You empty anything that's left in there. You empty out into a bucket, and then you just run water through it. I mean, it's not that bad.
Huh.
It requires like a person to be on it, right? So if your store doesn't have a maintenance person, then I could see how it might just not get done.
Is that the one person that takes the orders and does the burgers and the fries and the drinks? Because that's how it is at our McDonald's.
No, that's usually just a regular crew member.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Uh-huh.
A lot of McDonald's and a lot of fast food places, a lot of businesses right now in general are horribly understaffed. And even if they are staffed, they're underpaid. So you're not too motivated to give a crap about the ice cream machine if you don't have to. So like, I get where people are coming from.
Yeah, if you can just tell people that it's down, then you're just going to
it's
tell
one
them, hey,
less
it's
thing.
down.
It's one less thing you got to do today, and you still get your $10 an hour, or whatever they're paying at your McDonald's. I think we're up to 13 an hour here in Canton.
Yeah, I believe it's 15 here.
Yeah, Washington State.
$8.25 on the sign advertising for people to join here, so I'm assuming it's lower.
Wait, how much?
Wow.
They're advertising people now starting at $8.25 on the sign out front, so I'm assuming the actual pay is lower.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Good lord.
Everywhere is understaffed right now too.
Yeah, everywhere's hiring.
Employers
Everywhere's
won't pay.
understaffed. Yeah, it's the fight for 15 still going on. Yeah, like that's why I don't blame anyone who works at McDonald's where their machine isn't working. I get it.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I do think this company has a case.
No, I think they do too. I mean, for McDonald's to just go out and,
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
slander, really just, slander this company to blame their technology, to blame their equipment on why you can't ever get ice cream at a McDonald's restaurant. Yeah, it was just a dumb
They
idea.
don't ever tell you that it's Sonic or Dairy Queen, and those people are going through way more ice cream, like the same machines. It's not like they have special machines for each different store.
No. Yeah, and I think Dairy Queen's a really good point, man. Like that place has been humming this whole time. So it's just a function of people actually giving a crap. And like I said, it's not every McDonald's, man. Like there's a good McDonald's in town and a bad McDonald's. Back in Canton, we used to have a good Denny's and a bad Denny's, and the good Denny's closed. Now all we have is bad.
R.I.P.
Ooh, rip good Denny's.
I'm so sad, dude.
All right, let's wrap up the sauce talk. We got 10 minutes until Steve Tendo. Yeah, and only 10 minutes to go until Steve Tendo starts. So let's get out of the way for some old school gaming. But first, we got to talk a little bit about that Cortex winner of the week. It's the Shack Pet Showdown. That's right.
Motherfucking Cortex.
Guess who's back? Back again. It's 8 Mikey. 8 Mikey's bringing it with a very close to 1 million Shack Pet point week. That's basically using Shack Pets for. Or wait, I picked the wrong link in there. I didn't change the link. That's the wrong. That's the old.
Like it may be from a few weeks ago.
No, that's totally my fault, Krabs.
Nobody look. Nobody look.
Thanks for giving me some shine.
It's totally my fault right there.
I didn't
get the right link. Yeah. 8 Mikey tried, though. 8 Mikey must have been trying to get, as you've said, to get an 800,000 or 900,000 point week. You have to be dedicated to that app all day long.
This is the day. Yeah. You'll notice the second place player, Jules, brand new Shack name, brand new user.
Yep.
First day on the app, second place. I was like, damn.
That's the power of Shack Pets.
Once again, I'm not trying to win, folks. Just LOL is really cute. That's all I can really say. Is that you can passively use that app where you don't even log in and still get third place today.
And it's great to see a new user on the board.
I mean, we've had quite a few.
Absolutely, and it's great to see Shack Pets bringing in these people to the Carnage Report. But congratulations to 8 Mikey, nailing down a solid week of Shack Pets usage, getting that first place. A few in a row. I feel like he was taking a little break, but he's definitely back now. And then Mad Dog did not win the chatty. I'm sorry, Vishy. Am I still gone or am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. I think I paused on stream a little bit.
Yeah, you had a little hiccup there, but it's all good.
But yeah, Mad Dog's not on the list. Or sorry, he's not on the list. He's on the list, but Mad Dog is not the chatty champion. Ninjace? Ninjace? It's Sex Ninja. If you knew him before, He used to be Sex Ninja. Now he's Ninja SE.
I think it's Ninja Say.
Yeah, that's how I say it because I know what his old name is.
Yeah.
But yeah, good job, Sex Ninja, getting your name on the list and winning the chatty for the week. Mad Dog, the gifts are not enough, my friend. You'll make the top 20, but you're not winning the chatty. You're not winning
I would
everything
point
with
out,
those gift posts.
Ninja Say put up 37,130 points for the week. It was almost 17,800 chatty points and like 19,320 Shack Pets points. So Ninja Say, I would say, is probably the most well-rounded person on the Carnage Report.
Yeah.
Where you can play both sides of the game. Whereas, actually, Mad Dog was third highest when it came to chatty this week.
Mm-hmm.
Behind Fragism and Ninja Say. So yeah, there's definitely people moving up there. Mad Dog
Competition is hot.
Look, we're gonna continue to motivate people to use Shack Pets. Another in the top 10 for the week, One PR Studio Pet Squad doing some work.
Absolutely.
We saw Rumpo in the top 7. Greg Burke in third place. Morgan Shaver second place behind 8 Mikey. 8 Mikey really had a ridiculous week with that almost 1 million point week. But yeah, I feel like there's a well-rounded shacker out there that has a pet and posts that could beat 8 Mikey. I mean, I could beat 8 Mikey, but I don't want to beat.
Yeah.
I was just playing for a few weeks there, just because I wanted to win on my birthday, but that was about it. 8 Mikey actually said, I don't know if it was Thread or another one, that his swipe finger was getting tired from excessive the app, so he might take the week off. So it could be an opportunity. You gotta I don't know. I know how much usage it requires to put up almost 1 million points in a week. You really have to use the app a lot. And I will say, you don't just have to swipe; you can hit buttons on the app. So
I feel like this guy may be swiping with both hands.
There's, I don't want to.
I'm sure he knows all the tricks.
I don't want to. Actually, I don't think he does.
Maybe not.
All the tricks.
There is a user that has figured out an exploit that I know about, and they are using it, and we're not patching because it's not something. Oh my god, this is amazing!
There it is. Prepare your shit.
Holy crap! Forget whatever I was talking about.
Rodfest.
This is how we're taking out the episode.
This Rodfest.
This is how we end the episode right here with Rodfest 2K22.
But I can't see it yet. Oh wait,
it's on Twitch.
I'll put it in your special page on
your
Discord in the art section where I post the rest of my fanfic and all that.
Rodfest is coming. Prepare your shit.
Get that hashtag. Hashtag
Rodfest 2K22, man. Let's just do it. I'm on the board. I'm in.
All right, you are on the board of directors. It's official. That was announced today.
I don't know exactly what we're doing or when, but
it's gonna happen.
I think Marvel is going to be there.
Marvel's going to be there.
If I smoke as much weed as Snoop Dogg, can I get on the board?
And illegal underground Street Fighter 5.
Can Blake be on the board, Rod?
Yeah.
We're all on the
game
board.
Played at Rodfest is under the table.
Well, Blake wasn't here when you said that before, so now Blake, you're on the board of Rodfest.
I made it.
Go.
I did it. Yeah.
The only part of Rodfest that's officially sanctioned.
Remember this moment.
I'm gonna get us all jerseys soon. We're all gonna be Rodfest, and we're gonna go to tournaments, scout people out, hand out flyers, tell them to show up. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm there.
A miracle can happen to you.
I'm freaking there. I will.
Is this? Have we determined it's in Vegas for sure?
Yes, it's
got to be in Vegas.
Got to be in Vegas.
Okay, so Rodfest fall. Okay, is it like EDC or is it more like Evo or is it both?
It's probably gonna be a little bit of both.
Okay.
Minus all the creepy people.
Well, be sure to subscribe here to the Shacknews Twitch channel to make sure that you're on the VIP list for Rodfest. I just made that up, but I'm a board member, so I can do that.
There you go.
We're streaming it on Shacknews too. All of it.
Yeah.
We'll give VIP access to Rodfest 2022. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Killing me.
What do you say, everybody? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of the way for Steve Tendo. That's a wide world of esports wrapped up and in the bag. Episode 122. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you to Rodney Conyers Jr. for being here, my friend. You're here. EE wasn't. I think that says all we need to say. Thank you so much to Asif Khan for joining us for the entire episode and giving us your insight on all the topics today. Also, thank you so much to Krabs Gerard for your technical direction. Couldn't do it without you. And to Blake Morse, our other co-creator, co-host of Wide World of Esports, popping in for Sauce Talk. Thank you to everybody for joining us.
Daggy, man.
Hashtag Rodfest 2K22. Hashtag prepare your shit.
Hashtag
Prepare
prepare
your
your
shit.
shit.
Hashtag prepare your shit. Daggy, let's go.
Daggy, man.
We're getting out of here.
Rodfest gonna be crisp, baby.